Da ta ta. Da da da. Da da da. Mm. Da da da. 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 Pepper skull. Da, yo, people, me a second. Me I go step on enough people. Old boy, yo. Me sorry, me just, yo. Oh, God. Me can't lie. Me too old for lie. Well, I can lie, but me not no reason for lie upon the internet. But me feel like me feel like. And big up to all of the old boy pre. Yeah, man, old boy pre, man. Old boy pre. Old boy pre. Remember me told you. Let me see what I go on YouTube. Put up a thumbnail, you see me? Yes. Open this up and save. Old boy pre. Yes, man. Old boy pre. Jano. Old boy pre. I mean, know me I got step on enough can today, but me can't. Yeah, me not there to me not there for lie to no people. Big man thing, no woman. Big man thing, a masculinity, me say. Now bow down to no woman. So me say a big man thing. Big man thing. First of all, second annual Members Monday. Members Monday thing. Members Monday, yeah. Start the soliloquy. Easy the Michael, start the thing. From them a bar in a chichi man bar. Send the fire, make we burn them. TOK said that. Make a reason, people. TOK say from we are par in a chichi man bar. Chichi man, we say our chichi man are some batty man. We know what go on with them. We know what go on in Jamaica. We know say yo chichi man a batty man. We know that. The song that was heavily rotated in Jamaica in a certain place of America. Until then catch on and TOK now when TOK tour up here, so TOK say yo them take the song there out of them catalog. Them no play the song there no more. Another song there more than go to listen to TOK perform. TOK don't perform that song anymore, people. TOK don't perform Power in a Chichiman bar. Them no perform it nowhere up here, so when they come up here. So. Why? All right, make go back in the days. Back in the days. That me learn at school. No black in the days. Back in the days. Hear what I say? Shaba ranks back-to-back Grammy. Go up on an interview and burn out Batty, man. Never been back to the Grammy since. Me no know. We know so when them man they are play them hand behind the scene, them affect the whole industry. We know that. We don't know why to Shaba a legend. One of the originator. But we see what happened. You think then just go after Shaba ranks one? All right, Michael. Fuck career talk. All right. Fuck career talk, Michael. It's like boom, bye in a them boy the head. Governor support them nasty man, them have it. One of my favorite song of Buju Banton. You Google a song there now, you hardly can find it on YouTube. It's like that song they just get lost in the annals of time. Where is that song? Where there? We don't know where that Buju Banton song there. It's like people stop play it. That song they just drop out from rotation. You can't get that song there on Spotify. No care what you do, you can't find it. Can me look for it. Buju Banton, I want my best art. Me rate Buju. But guess what? I have to talk the truth. I have to talk the truth. I remember me tell me say, okay. So me send her the link, the big man. Go and look pan what go on YouTube. Me know you pray. Me know you pray. Me just attack the truth, people. Soon come in the comment section. Boom bye bye Buju no Buju go on like that. He never sing that song there. Buju apologize for that song there every year. You have Capleton come now. Fire. Fire Capleton born in the late 90s, early 2000s. Me a fire. Me run up and down. Me used to smuggle pyro and shell tax in a dance. When man used to want to smuggle bullet and cutlass and ratchet, a pyro. We go to find ID, I walk around and look and hide pyro can. Kind of night touch. Fire. Where we are born? Where we are born? You know where we are born? Some fish we are born. But guess what? Me continue with the artists them. Me couldn't put all of them in the title. Then you have man like Sizzla. Sizzla my artist. Sizzla got a place in New York already and talk about, yo, my favorite Sizzla still in about love him or hate him. Him stand up for. But is it good for the culture? And if we want the culture remain in Jamaica, or we want the culture go abroad, that are the thing, that are the thing where the members are going to discuss today. It's good for the culture, but the culture remain in Jamaica, or you want the culture go abroad. You have to put up the culture. No care what you say, you have to put up the culture. Feet get exported. That me I tell you. You can't have the cake and eat it too. All right, Sizzla. All of them artists that we talk about, Visa Tech, you know? All of them artists here, from the great Shaba to Buju to Capleton, all of them depend on Bumbuckler, Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam a Batman. But them a born out Batman. Make we get down in a reasoning we talk. Salute to some of the members them who reach out to me behind the scene. Me say behind the scene because we know no fish thing. And behind the fucking scene. We know Batman, we know Batman. Now I say Black at the scene or some fuckery. How can I cowboy this in my face? Black at the scene or forward. Me no know what I talk about. Me no use to them language there. Me I say when we meet up behind the scene. Yes, me say it again, big and bold. Behind the scene. And them a reason we have. Them a reason in here we have. So we have them the artists there in Jamaica as legend. But was it good for the genre of dancehall? Reggae is reggae. Reggae gone boy business. But anytime some reggae man burn out Capleton, double in a dancehall about most of the reggae. Sizzla same thing. Buju same thing. You can't argue for either, but may I tell you, say, I'm mostly reggae and sitting. But dancehall always a suffer. A dancehall get the brunt of the fuckery. Hence this topic here. So when we are born out the Batman them, who you think own this arena over there, so Arrow of Shears Nights? Who you think own this music group over there, so? Now the same Batman them are born out. And the same Batman them are born out can down your career. Remember 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, when they asked Beanie Man, say, yo, when I want to know where you sleep, you know, Silk under and sit Beanie Man laugh. Why? Now when you look back, you say, the perfect answer Beanie Man give. No answer at all, you just laugh, laugh it off. Beanie Man did give the wrong answer. He could have never get the chance to perform that night. Remember, me see him night, they're going to tell Beanie, I homophobic thoughts and images. Me I say, yo, what? Thought, crime, all that. Poor Beanie, good to go back to Jamaica, bro. They're going to take away visa. Remember what year everybody get visa. That's why I have to rate man like Sean Paul, Shaggy, Cartel. When I do all the arena, remember in a 2010, 2011 or so, enough man they have no visa. And the pressure was still on from what the man they doing at the 90s. Because remember, the 90s was just half 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Just a decade back. I'm talking at 2009 or 08 then time there. The 90s just left. We still know half of the 90s, a decade yet. So them boy, they who in a power still a pre-dancehall. That me I tell you, so then catch Buju. Then finally catch up with Buju. Remember me tell you, them no forgot nothing. So all them derogative song, people, if you not say boom bye bye, okay, you say boom bye bye, and you know what it say, you know what it mean. You know who get slapped with, you know what kind of phobia in the song. And while we are jump up to it, no say the man who own the not even have hand on the angle at the door, that the man they own the door to open it for dancehall go further. That the man they will hold the latch, will hold the key, own the key and the door and the house. That the man there, if him no fish, him know people who are fish and in the pan the fishy side. That me I tell you, hate me all I want. But you have 2 ways to look on this Buju as mega star. But when he beat you, if he beat, other artists will come after Buju suffer. Case in point, I remember distinctly between 03 and 05, when we were still at Jamaica. Certain reggae artists, when they put out album, the album name that display on the shelf. When I look back, when I go in our store and yesterday this cashier or whatnot, and you look up on the over here, so them time that CD and you look on the wall, let's see CD. Elephant Man do and look at talk, interview and say, yo, either him or him fans then go feed. And guess what? The owner have to say, all right, what you want? Elephant Man, this album here, them have to go back, reach down. Because pressure from them, the man there. The album couldn't out there so advertise. Why? Because you're a Jamaican artist. But here what? Me never hear Elephant Man about no rated yet. But Buju did. Capletons was doing at the time. Shaba did. So all of that affect the artists that will come after. Oh Lord man, make we cook. Make we cook. Me know you not agree with me no. Me know this a topic no sense. No, that topic now going at the algorithm. Because me not talk about cartel. Me not talk about massacre today. We are talk from back in the days. Alkaline, cartel, massacre, all who do arena now. Just remember. Salute to them two you there who help open the door for you because the door the lock. The door the lock, visa the take away. Cartel never did a travel before in got jail. Why? Not no visa. Right now, Popcorn and no visa. we still have feel the effect. 30 years after, we still have feel the effect. And what them man they say. And like me, I tell people, I love Buju, I love Sisla, I love Capleton. Big up to Shaba. But the works of them put on in the past. Remember me tell you, although we Jamaicans was happy and saying fire for them. But the flip side is the person who we are born fire pan, or the community who we are born fire pan, and them own the entire fucking building where we want to get entrance to. Preach, old boy. Make old boy take a sip of my lemonade and lime. I kind of fresh though, cause can't drink too much of sugar thing, you know. Cause old boy I get old. Old boy old already. When I talk about old boy old. Yes. And a lot of Jamaicans so far. You don't ever hear some of the dancers them when them say when Bogle and whoever got embassy to get visa, the embarrassment where them put them through. The embarrassment. The Saboa when he broke up, you remember him used to him did in a bus time song party with me. Him did in the video. The man they say when them got embassy and it happened to whole heap of DJ, I start about it. Oh, me come a year embassy if you say, yo, you know, so my paper go and want working visa or whatnot. And you tell me, say, oh, it depends on your passport, say you dancer. Dance make me blood clots. You know how embarrassing that is. It never happened to me still, cause why two man we love? But anyway, we're not talking about that. Yeah, you go deal with that. But anyhow, you have them, you are dancer, you're a big man. And you are dance, then put on the laptop and say, close it. Close the laptop and say, all right, you're a dancer, dance to me. You jump through hoops like a fucking seal. Like a monkey. You dance to America because them have the power. And the same man them you are born out. That's why they start act that way there. Whole heap of artists get denied access to America because of what Shaba do, what Buju do. And if you think say lie, me I tell, ask them man there to perform them song there. As me said before, me can't find Boom Bye Bye nowhere. If me Google it, it come up. If me go up on YouTube, is a man who have a small YouTube channel and put that in it, and you might hear it or some skew, some bullshit wrong, but it have an official page where you can say, yo, see the Boom Bye Bye. You know, the on Spotify. Like a kill Buju kill somebody. And Buju is like a cutlass over Buju head for the rest of his life. He can't get rid of it. Up to this day. So you are telling me, say, and you are me if you believe, say, when him say, yo, slap with them type of man there, them not take it serious. Of course, them take it serious. Them take it well serious because them have all that power. And that's why, as I said before, we have to give praise. Sean Paul and Shaggy. Because of the big impact with them having in the early 2000s. And why you think when Shaggy promote film album wa there, him come out in a pink thing, pink blouse. I show people say, yo, him still a fear push back, say, yo, me know in them thing there again. And see that the big man where come from prison, me not sing no class song, no gun song. Why? My fear walk on chalk line still. Because the man them in the power, them are real fish and they love fish. So if we that Jamaica burn out fish and say, yo, we are slap with fish, and fish we go under the ground, then we can't be surprised when the fish close the door and have it closed for nearly 30 years. Remember me told you. Reasoning, Michael. I don't know where the reason I come from. You know? But when they sit down and pray and say, yo, music we are talking about. Music we are talking about. You see me, I say, welcome to what is me call? Welcome to Members Monday. Members Monday. You see the Monday? I talk the truth. No care who like it or not. The truth we talk. Shaba legend enough thing in the good. But enough things you can put on foot and say, yo, Buju same way. And the generation where Buju sing to like myself, we love it. We love it. But enough things, enough door get closed because of them song there where them sing. And if you don't believe me, when me watch Capleton multiple times, when Capleton come and I say, yo, when them a bonfire, you burn out. One time he used to say it clear, you know. Them say burn out corruption, burn out bad mind. burn out this, burn out that, but he left everything over there, so he not mention it. Yo, let me put on my glass. I also boom by there on YouTube. I lie you I tell. Yes, no. It's there on YouTube. Go on the Buju Banton page and see if you see boom bye. Go on the Buju Banton Vivo and tell me if boom bye there. Crime Face, go tell me if boom bye there under Buju Banton Vivo. Me bet you. And I no money still, but me bet you. Me bet you. Crime Face, Shower Alliance, big up yourself. Anybody that online and no pepper skull. Big up your young boy. No man, DJ Evelina, old boy. Yo, go over there so and tell me say boom bye the under Buju Banton Vivo. More see. Are they under any other artist Vivo? You know they're there. As me say, you can find it some. You go find it if you really know. If you go search, you will find it. But boom bye. That me I tell the people. So we know as a generation we come out of the 90s. We just have to look back and talk the truth. Because me and Mr. Naked Truth. You know? You see what I say? We have to just start the truth. Them artists, they was good for the days. But they really, and we don't know, you know. And I put it them foot and say them, they know say this are going. Because at the time, that the crowd did want. When Buju Banton come out and say the world is in trouble, them boy they get up and run. A gunshot in your head back. Yo, a bare finger, look at you tap a finger push out. Can we love it? Remember me tell you. Lala Bella. You see me? I just saw it said. A good reasoning to them. Good reasoning to them want. You see me I say? And I no fuck reasoning. Just set you already on. Yeah man. You see me I say people. And them reason them want power. Yo, time hot, you know, time cold and then get hot. You see me? Let me go so boom. Alright. Lala Bella Wagwan, you ready? See the link, you know. Can get in the conversation. You see me? Invite. As me say, a members Monday, no people. Members Monday. You see me? Double mint. Big up double mint. Hey, double mint, I'm a little sister, you know. Kinda double mint look like, you know, a family member, you know, say, you see them at Christmas dinner or barbecue. You just look upon them, they look upon you. And just laugh and pass. They want to beat you up, but they know they can't. You understand? That's what I think said. That's what me and double means there. She wish me all the best, but she can't beat me normally. You understand? I just saw. Double mean just can't say, Michael, you're wrong this. All the time I just tall belt. Just tall belt. I just saw I think said. I think I'm a member. Of course, I remember double men forward. But here we may say, we are going to stay upon the topic. We are going to stay upon the topic. You understand? Those three artists when me call, and me could put Sizzla in it too. You understand? Come here, Sizzla da, New York and Sizzla. Yo, me have to wait Sizzla still, you know. Me see the video of Sizzla there America, New York, I perform. And you know, I say, yo, wait, and Sizzla stop. And I say, yo, pause, level. And one thing with Sizzla, when Sizzla say level, the man just stop. Everybody tap because they're afraid of him. Then no one start boxing up like then do Norris, man. So anyhow, Sizzla say level. And Sizzla looking at the crowd and say, yo, me know say no for no suck pussy. No for no fuck body, but fire for no. And I say, yo, Sizzla, are you them pay if you see, you know? Are you them pay if Sizzla just cuss out the people who pay if you can't see him? Sizzla cuss out the people who pay if you can't see him. Me have to rate that. Me have to say, yo, Sizzla, that's why they don't want to give no visa, you know. And see you finally get a work visa and you just not care. You love judgment, yeah, it's a Sizzla. So you go back up there after the flight, yeah, and they not bring you back. And for years after that, Sizzla don't get no visa. I doubt it. Sizzla have an American visa up till now. You have a Europe one, you know, what they and come back, you know. What they Sizzla get to come back up here, so. First time in about 15 years in come up here, so. Me go over there and me see him. I say, yo, Sizzla bad still. But some of the work where the man they put in a them time there, it affect the artists them in a negative way. And if you don't believe me, just check the catalog check the artist them catalog and see which song they now perform. Cause yo, Rick one time if you go, you know, Chichi Man, TOK, then say, yo, then drop that from the catalog, then stop perform it. Because the man where them are born out and them assign and check. What a irony. Look on the irony. The man where them are born out in the song and the same man assign them check. You can't make this up. So all of the man that will argue if I'm in the 90s, early 2000s come up, them have to change in tune. And then you have man like me now, we come on the internet and I talk about it. I said, no, you know, we have to talk about it. I don't care if I love the man or not. I just shoot my talk. So, where's the balance? You think Shaba do more for dancehall in a good way, a negative or a positive way? Jamaica-wise, locally, all of them are alleged locally. Shaba ranks come out first 2 years, first 2 album, Grammy. And then we just not hear about him. He bring the light pan Jamaica in a negative way. He bring the light pan dancehall in a negative way. Them Grammy there was worthy for Jamaica, but as an international level, better I didn't get them. Or better I didn't go do that interview there. You don't know. I don't have to tell me. Because when he win back-to-back Grammy, right now he turn star, artist thing the time there. Henceforth, the interview. And it look like him over there and a in my mind, I say this because Jamaicans are jump up. But guess what? And then Jamaican in America. So maybe you should have tone down and say, yo, right, I don't know. Because that interview then forward. When Buju Banton come in after with the boom boy, Buju Banton couldn't get away that brother. Buju couldn't get away. I straight boom by straight. And that song, I love that song up till today. He couldn't get away. Then they stopped till and put him in jail. Just, well, I don't know people. It think now, man. Miss Jacobs, what go on? Yo, disrespect but old boy. A fuckery a chat. Alright. A fuckery a chat. Alright, just humbly. Alright. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. A fuckery a chat. Which part of me a chat a fuckery? Tell me. No disrespect, boy. Fuckery a chat. A fuckery a chat. Which part of my early soliloquy was fuckery? Tell me. Double mint a fuckery a chat. You can look on the two way, you know. Where them song they do for Jamaica, where them song they do for dancehall. If them song they never drop, what would happen? Love them artists, I hate them. But it affect dancehall in a negative way. And all me know, me not think so. All me know it affect them in a negative way. If it was positive, they would still sing them song they up till now. They're not singing. Them not sing them song they know. They are question. Yeah, you can say that thing. But me I say them not think they not sing their song they know. So obviously, it affect us in a negative way. You see me I say? For Jamaica, yes. For the local ground, yes, we love it. But when we cross, when we jump on the plane and cross the local ocean there, we know. Local Caribbean Sea, we know. It affect Jamaica negatively because it push dancehall especially. No reggae dancehall. Because now we like the pan where and everybody, every artist after that, pre that. Every artist after that get pre-mens. every artist after that get asked crazy question. You understand? Every artist after that, they hold them foot to the fire. The Latin artists, them, they never ask them nothing about no gay thing. But as soon as every artist were boss, after 98, 95, once they go a foreign and do an interview, them ask them about them song there. The homophobic slurs and sitting, them have Jamaica as the biggest homophobic country on the planet. And all artists get asked it. And I really think me talk. Love it or not, I just saw it thing said. Members Monday. Yo, Lala Bella, what go on? Yo. This thing is nice, no fret. Yeah, yeah, my brother. Lala Bella. Listen, I hear me. Yeah, man, everything.
Yeah, not here.
Oh, what go on?
Hold
What you think about me little silly look? Feel free to
I
disagree,
agree
you
with
see
you.
me?
No, man, me agree with you.
Hmm?
So maybe we'll need to find someone who will disagree with us.
Me think Double Mint will disagree with me, you know. But out of the three artists, Buju, you understand, Capleton and Shaba, even we can throw Sizzler in the mix also. Who you think they do the most amount of damage to the imagery of dancehall overseas?
So,
Out of all four.
so one would I say, right? The problem start with that Shaba interview.
All right, Jay Comic, forward. Yeah.
Yeah, me would have said it problem start with the Shaba interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did conflate the whole Bojo and Shaba thing into one. But it start with
Yeah.
Shaba.
Yeah.
I I don't necessarily know which of the two. Well, you know what? I would say Shaba. Shaba brought more harm than Bojo, but Bojo pretty much added. Bojo exacerbated the problem. Is what I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, because at the time when Shaba did his interview, he was way bigger than Buju. Very way bigger than Buju at the time, yeah? Because he's coming off back to back Grammy, yeah?
Right.
He was coming off back to back Grammy. Double Grammy winner, back to back. And Buju
Michael,
was, yes.
good afternoon. Hey, Niall. What you still have night blocked?
No, I'm gonna have Night Black. Oh, you know, why Night always communicate with you and not communicate with me?
Because you're having Black Navy.
Yo, that was a farce, you see, that was a farce. All right, double me, may I free him up. Jesus Christ.
That's Christ, brother.
I free him up. I free him up. You know, so me black him by accident and can't unblock him. But anyway, double mint. What do you think about the topic? What do you think did the most damage to Jamaican dancehall when it come to overseas market? You understand?
Well, I feel like it's a collective effort. I
Mm.
also feel like um when you said do the most damage in terms of what? What do you mean?
When it come to this homophobic thing that say the Jamaican world is a homophobic country, and they
So
always point to
is
Shaba.
Jamaica not a homophobic country? So those lyrics
Mm,
that Shaba was singing,
mhm.
they weren't ringing true in Jamaica.
Yes, and the one where Buju
That
sing.
wasn't right. Those weren't the sentiments of the other day. Me say in one comment section, I have no team in the World Cup, but me think France are going win. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody reply and say, "We not read nobody boy."
Mm.
Yeah, your thing say Shaba do that.
No,
Oh,
this is
Bojo,
just the culture.
Bojo. Oh, yeah.
But before,
I feel like it would have to be a collective like accountability. Like we could have say a one person response for that damage, yeah. You know what I mean? Because those people that you're speaking about, they make music for the same people them. You know, some of them realize that them have to toe a certain line. You know what I mean? So them have to go about doing things a certain kind of way. Them have to please the ground, but them have to please overseas. So them a ride this line. But I think you can say Shaba or Buju or whoever is solely responsible for the demise. No, I don't think that's fair.
So
Mm.
without wholly blaming Shaba or Buju or anyone else, right? We can speak to events. We can speak to the interview that Shaba did, right? And we clearly
Mm-hmm.
can look at how the industry reacted to that interview. It's
Yeah.
clear that, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing. I'm saying yes.
Right. And I think what's more dicey is what you spoke about the dynamic as far as the culture, Shaba being from that culture, not necessarily trying to satisfy that culture, but being a product of the culture. He was of the view that he was justified in his utterance, only to realize that the wider world doesn't subscribe to whatever convictions he had.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
you know, now sometimes I wonder for the wider world or it's just America, you know. And the reason why I say that is, yeah, I talk and remember what happened the other day with Tyler when she come here, come say she not black, you know what I mean, and how the black community is reacting over it, you know what I mean. So is I only live in America and Jamaica, so I can't really tell you the effects. Wherever you, Michael, wanna live, is that a
Mm-hmm.
like a thing where the Libicuda community have a issue with those songs, even okay, me not lie, you know, the man them over here so sing out the song them, you know. If you play TOK, any one of them song that the people them like we in a club where I do them sing, dance. So what is it like over which part wanna live? Is it shunned? Like how did it contribute? Then I can answer the question.
Over here, so let me tell you, you can't sing them song over here, so you can't sing it. If TOK start singing it, them will take them off of the stage. Police will come and lock them up. Over
I
here,
think,
so you have a day when you there in the city and you see a man ride past you naked. Naked as the day in barn. I say what this here? And when you look, you have at least 5 to 5, 7, 8, 1,000 people. All of them naked. I ride down the street.
hold on,
You
Michael,
understand?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, double I think you're saying that folks from the aggrieved community are the ones who actually sing the song here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, man, the people them in the
From
big
that
with that
community.
community, yeah, like
Right.
them are the ones with my crew. From them apart, like if you play it and they're there, they're singing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just want to know what the temperature over there. But he is giving me the answer. He is responding no more to him answer.
Yeah,
Go
man.
on, sir.
And the gay community strong over here, so man. You
Okay,
understand? Very, very, very strong.
so the interview make its way to over there, and they have
Yeah.
the same stance. Okay,
Yes.
which part you the Nile is that
Right here in the mid Atlantic, Virginia.
okay, so in a Virginia, how it a go for you? Coming with up on the East Coast. As a matter of fact, my sister is in Virginia too. But go ahead.
Well, I've lived in so many places, right? New York, Atlanta, so many other places. And I mentioned New York and Atlanta. You have the village and you have Midtown Atlanta, representative of that respective community.
Mm.
And no doubt about it. I personally have actually no. Let me put it this way: I've never necessarily heard them singing these songs, but I've seen on YouTube where they definitely dance and sing to the lyrics of those songs. My thing is that in some respects they're not cognizant of the nature of the songs, and some are, and they're just singing and dancing to it in a way of repelling what our community is trying to push on them.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, it could be, but here's the thing. Sometimes we feel like something's supposed to affect people a certain way. So a lot of, I guess, the people that I would say I come across, they're of Caribbean descent, right? And so
Right.
they understand the connotations or what it means. The thing is that is what them grow up around. And me I talk about the one them when we can talk to personally. I let them grow up around. You know what I mean? So it no matter what, the song not just I talk about that. It talk about a whole heap of other things in the song. And if the hook catchy, the hook catchy. Now, Michael, to where you say no, right?
Mm.
And then Niall did bring up the fact say we can look at the Shaba interview and say it do that or it at least brought attention to what was being said. Do I think that now cause dancehall first? No, me not think. Me think the whole thing is a push and pull. You I go if it a go be dancehall, it have to talk about where we not like and where we like and what we do and what we not do as Jamaican dancehall people on the ground, right? And so if you have that, you're gonna have people when I like it to have a problem with it. Even people in Jamaica, but it's how it works. That's how life go everywhere all the time. So I think that push and pull is not a bad thing for us. I don't see it. I guess maybe I want to hear more about what you're saying, Michael, because I don't see it as a bad thing. I think it's one of the reasons why we're still here today.
Can I
Mm.
chime in before Michael? Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think dancehall was blacklisted after
Was.
the after the Shaba incident. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of venues that were
True.
accessible to us for decades, for in excess of a decade, multiple decades rather, were no longer accessible to us. We had to settle for performing in these hole in the wall venues for a long time, and that did cap our capacity as far as performing and attending these events. And
Mm-hmm.
we clearly see what's going on now that we once again have access to the creme de la creme venues.
Mm-hmm.
The since the early 90s, if you were a regular dancehall promoter, they wouldn't grant you access to utilize your venue, no matter how much you're paying. And we could look at the economics of that, how that must have adversely impacted the industry alone. And that's just one reference.
So while I think it bear truth for most, I don't think it is at all or maybe majority, most majority, same thing. But I think of
Mm-hmm.
all. So what me that say is in a them time there, the strongest of the strong survive, the fittest of the fit. You know what I mean? That's how when you know say your money good. You know if you can survive them different time. Because sure it still a keep. That people did still a try find innovative ways. But I don't disagree with you. Like they had to now become more creative in doing so. I guess I feel like that is an American thing. And
Right.
so I'm just I really am interested since this is a good topic to hear like I'm hear Michael too. Maybe if anybody else is here from anywhere else around the world or they've lived in other places and they see the effects because I just feel like it would be hard for me to make an educate you know what I mean an educated guess or have an opinion
Mm-hmm.
on something that I really only have like one-sided information to. It's kind of like with last thing with Tyler the other day, why I could see it different from Black Americans who's just saying that she's black and why she doesn't want to be black is because I live here. But I
Mm.
know I know something different from elsewhere. So I would want to hear everywhere else like what the country looks like. Do people still sing the song? Like did it go down for dancehall during that time?
Yeah,
um
it was blacklisted for real. I see me. Night. You just come up. What happened? How is it over with you tonight?
Man, we just forward so them can see my name on the screen, man. You see me? But regarding which part me live is a completely different realm in terms of the specific songs you speak about. So if I want to talk about the TOK, the Buju, etc., but I think them song that it penetrate the not only the airwaves but also the ethos here. So them don't know nothing about them song there, right?
Or them
As in,
underground.
yeah, them song the unknown, where only probably the Jamaicans them where they hear know it, or the dance of them, the what you call it, the respective. For example, I think Weekend Gone we did have Ali and what his name again, Rupert, the dancer better, right? Him or people who associate with him would know the song and everything that comes with the song, right? The pushback, the stuff like
Yeah.
that that hit the song. But the average the average citizen here who listens to dancehall, them no know they like their introduction to dancehall is within probably the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. It's not a genre where them did I listen to early 2000s or even in the 90s. So if me for ask them, do you know anything about the TOK song? Them are gonna say no. Maybe if them hear it, them don't know the history behind it. Insert them don't know the corporate
Struggle.
blacklisting happened, the corporate struggle with it. So them know it is different here. So even though if we go across the border, if we go close why for the border, if we go closer to where Michael live, where dancehall and Caribbean music on a whole is more ingrained in the society, them know the history of the song and what happened after post release and also the blacklisting of the song, the visa restrictions that happened afterwards, etc. So when me live specifically, it would be difficult to find 10 people that know the song or the song them in general and the history or what happened after the release of the song them.
Okay.
I, f- I
So
find what you're
what?
saying sorry.
No, I just want him to answer. What about the Shaba interview? Because that's kind of where. So move off the song now, and just do you think that interview impacted? It's probably still a no, but do you think that interview did anything or impacted anything in in where you are right now?
Oh no, specifically no. Because for
Okay.
example, there's a Michael know him too. There's a brother who own a dance studio, right? A dance studio here, sir. And he must say, yo, I'm afraid for go Jamaica. And I say, one, make him say, yo, I hear a bag of things about what the culture do to certain people, right? But if you ask him, where him know about that, where more refer to, it literally start from either things he made up on social media or um literally social media. Him you know got called the Shaba incident is somewhere 90 when he did that
Early
interview in the 92, right? Or 93.
Yeah,
92,
92.
93.
92.
Yeah, one of them time there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where me live, them in a communism them time there, right? Them in a communism. Well, so late communism they run over. Yeah, I think them a fight communism them time there. So them don't know nothing about the Shaba incident. So as I said, the genre itself started to blossom here
Mm-hmm.
within the last decade and a half, maybe 2 decades at most.
Mm.
Uh, uh, uh.
Um.
All right. Let Name go on through.
So I really appreciate what he said contextually as it relates to when dancehall entered into that space. It's a tangential topic. I
Mm-hmm.
am curious to see who were the individuals to introduce dancehall to that community. But and Double Mint, you touched on blackness, which I think is another neat topic because blackness is not as universal as Black American perceive it to be, or it's to the extent that it's universal, it's not based on how it's packaged by Black Americans. So I find that
Facts.
fascinating, but that's a whole different topic, and I hopefully we can explore that at some point in time.
Wait,
And
Michael, I write it down on the notepad right now.
I'm a love how you mentioned, because see when the Virgin start talk, I was gonna interject this point of things that took place here in America, but then I got back to what you said. To the extent that we have a certain experience in America, that doesn't necessitate it being universal. So in back here in America, Shaba, that interview definitely adversely impacted the genre. And if you guys recall, Buju was in negotiation with an individual who subsequently became the mayor of San Francisco. They're trying to work out some kind of solution. The problem
Mm.
for Buju ultimately was they wanted him to donate to LGBT type charities and sing pro LGBT type lyrics. And he was in opposition to that. They, if you remember, they took photos and everything, right? They pretty much were reconciling the issues until they asked for those two things where he's like, yo, I can't sing no pro LGBT lyrics and then
Mhm.
fall out and so
Mhm.
forth. So it was truly impactful here in America. You know, you go to Washington DC and then let's say, yo, if it's a reggae and dancehall thing, you can only perform at the lodge, you can only perform at such and such. All of the creme de la creme venues that would hold meaningful people, it was a no-no for our music. So I know that in America we suffered, but I'm glad to hear the perspective as far as Europe or Africa and elsewhere. We understand what Jamaica was, but here in America, the labels, after they blacklisted us, they wouldn't fund our projects. And Shaggy even spoke to the fact that as much as he was doing O'Caroline and those kind of music in the 90s, the
Mm-hmm.
labels didn't fund his projects. And he was able to perform significantly better than all the projects that were well funded. And we know that that had a lot to do with how they perceived the music. They deemed it toxic, and in so doing, they weren't willing to promote it. And a lot of those people became executives in all of these music companies and so forth. And once they heard reggae, it was an afterthought for them.
So, so I
Good
don't, I don't, I,
conversation.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Now, first thing, you're right. So that's why we have to big up the West Indian Social Club and the Polish American Club. I really them places there make dancehall live and them like something, because
Yeah.
like him say this, so we kind of get like not only in places that are called that, but you know what I mean, spaces like that. I don't. I feel like okay, I can say that was like the start, but I don't think it's like a thing that continued or it was continuous because after a time it dead down little, no, in your opinion you wouldn't think so because I think that in my opinion I think it died down for a while, and especially with the Elephant Man and him coming together with like the people who did down south music, which is what was the big thing at the time, like that kind of brought us back in a way. Now I won't go further than that, you know what I mean, because then that come back towards the decline. But I guess I feel like in America, maybe it do want like something. But right now, me even I go say, I not think it was it was how it was that way around the world. Let me say it that way there. I don't think it was that way around the world because 2006, 7, 8, you have people still a come to Jamaica for learn, and it dancehall really I touch them place there at that time. Even I take when my night I set into perspective, like when the whole heap of Japanese people them a come to Jamaica, them early out in the 2000s, them there, you know what I mean, and them passa time there, and it never, it still a grow, dancehall still a grow right now. You understand what I mean? So, me feel like when we are say them something about the Shaba and the whatever, me I go, me,
Mm.
me I go, me I go put it in its own a lane in America. You have to
Right.
add that part there for me, in
So,
America.
but with America being the bastion of capitalism and the largest music market, you clearly understand that if we're non-existent in that space, it adversely affects us elsewhere. As far as timeline, when I moved from Atlanta to DC in 2006, we still couldn't get meaningful venues in the nation's capital to perform reggae events. It was Crossroads and some small venues, and as I mentioned before, some of these lodges and so forth. So we were still affected even in
Yes.
2006.
You see now, so me not go even say that, but we come feel like down here so we did come in Florida. I feel like down here so we'd have,
Yeah.
By them time there, like we are the things. If you start out, when you da use the smaller, what I mean, place them. But
Mm.
at a certain point in terms of what there is, and to keep it real, nobody not doing a concert here, as what I mean, like that, unless it's like a best of the best or some shit, carnival or something like that. I don't believe anybody. Even Hans wasn't, to me, wasn't even at like saying, oh, BRT, maybe. Like, I don't even think he was there yet. Maybe on the journey, you know what I mean? But me never think that kind of register. Like, and I'm just going based on memory right now. So, maybe it's where we were, even in America. 'Cause America big, whatever happening in one state, not really happening in the next state. You know what I mean? So down here, 2007, may I keep dancing down here. You know what I mean? And the 2008, when Sting, when the Clash go on, the 2008 December. Somebody
Yeah.
correct me if me wrong.
Yeah, with
Okay.
Carcalam
All right. So
Movado.
that the year the 2008, me I plan to keep a party by Centennial Park, whole entire alliance. Big up Tonian.
Mm-hmm.
And that never worked out because we see, alliance didn't, but that was a big ass fucking place if you look up where that is. So I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's where you are. Maybe it's
So
where you
no,
are that
right,
there's that problem, and who you're renting from. You know what I'm saying? So down here,
right,
maybe why I like South Florida is this a lot of Caribbean people that's intertwined within even the South Florida. So maybe that's why it's a little bit different for us. But go ahead.
right. So look at music, right, in the early 90s when hip hop was on its way up, right? In my estimation, they needed crossover appeal, and in so doing, they solicited the likes of Supercat, Puffy, and Biggie, right?
Yeah.
They utilized Supercat because they wanted that crossover appeal. And when I look at where we were then, given the impact that we were having, wherein hip hop, which is how massive it is now, needed us. And clearly, I'm speaking of an anecdotal reference, but there are other instances wherein they collaborated with us to secure mainstream appeal. In the early 90s, at that point in time, you wouldn't find a rapper selling gold much as platinum. And Biggie was one of the first persons with Puff Daddy who were able to go in that direction. And reggae facilitated that. There were a lot of reggae and hip hop collaboration. And after the Shaba interview, a lot of that subsided. When you look at how much they were investing in reggae and dancehall at that time, we were on, I wouldn't necessarily say a similar trajectory to hip hop, but at that stage commercially, hip hop wasn't far removed from us. And then we have to, I am speculating, right? We have to now investigate why is it that if we were so close then commercially with hip hop, what created that massive chasm between us and hip hop commercially subsequently after the Shaba interview? It,
So you have to remember now, like hip hop is all right. As much as we forward here and have influences are that word the mega use to right now, I still not create no extra shit around that. So we have influences in a hip hop, it's still an American genre. And I keep saying that to us. The more I listen to like us versus Black Americans, I feel like we think we have some sort of, and more and choose more is right.
oversized contribution.
No, and not only just that, like we have a right to be somewhere. I feel like Babsy had said it one time on here, and I'm gonna use her words because she said it so very well. Basically, a lot of the people that in a hip hop, whole heap of them are Jamaican. So them grow up, Jamaican mentality, Jamaican understanding, Jamaican influences, Jamaican contributions to them life, involvement in a society, and so them carry that with them. But when it becomes a time now where you have to choose, because me as a hip hop person, I carry my brethren Buju, or I carry my brethren Capleton, but my brethren Capleton, for them genre where them a do a receive no flack, you go choose, brother. Because people are going to start disassociate themselves from you. And at any given time, American people, which is why I tell you, say them is so very, them willing to put them money behind and fit them rather buy garbage. Them rather buy garbage, fool music, stupidness, than invest and put their money somewhere else. And it a show again today. In a today dear.
Right.
Mm.
So I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that, right, there was a trajectory where reggae and dancehall, those two genres were growing similarly hip hop. And I agree with you that in a space like New York, there's so much overlap. Like if you're in Mount Vernon, most black people in Mount Vernon have Jamaican ancestry. So, and that's where Heavy D, who would then reach out to Supercat and get him over in that space to perform and collaborate with others. That's where he came from. So I agree with you, and I agree that hip hop is an American genre. But when I also now look at how even nowadays where reggaeton isn't necessarily Americana, but it is growing globally in the Latin world, in America, and the labels, if we are to believe them, are of the view that reggaeton and Afrobeats are two fastest growing genre.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to Ebro and those kind of guys who used to be on Hot 97,
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that that's where all the investment is going.
Yes.
And we have to then ask what's unique to those two genres.
Money. Money.
But
The the
before
the
there was no
the
money, right? At one point in
no
time, there was no money though.
no, but here's the thing now. All right, we can use Afrobeats too. Cause yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I use Latin, and yeah, I use whatever. But remember, say same thing with Afrobeat. You see, once the UK people them start invest the money, because that's what the genre needs. It needs backing. When we say things like Jamaican people don't buy music, right? That is in itself is a part of the problem. So we don't have any backing. We're depending on the backing of other people. And it's kind of a thing where if you have your house that you paying bills for and you helping out somebody and you see you about to lights about to be off, rent about to be owed, you can't help both of us this month. You gotta help one person. Who you gonna help? Your fucking self. You know what I mean? So it's a thing where, and I like myself before, I don't think the trajectory only stayed down because of that. Because I believe the trajectory went back up. Elephant Man, all of them good, the Sean Paul, that little 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, them kind of little era right that's big,
It was
especially
it.
down here.
Sorry, it was big for a few individuals, right?
No, I feel like it was big for the genre itself.
When you look at the data, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at chart performance and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't any indicator that everything was riding with the tide, rising with the tide. If you look at the chart performance and so forth,
What do you
there
mean
isn't.
if you look at the chart performances? You mean like us doing things on chart? Me not watch no charts. I know the reason why. Not to say I couldn't go back and do my little research, but as of right now, I don't have the answer for you with that. But I didn't need a chart to tell me that Jamaica was rising again because dancehall was everywhere on my TV, on the radio. When we're having important things down here, there's a Jamaican artist being dancehall artist being invited, recognized. So at that time, I think like you know, I feel set me not I feel look on one chart. For them the time there, right? Not talk about now, but for them the time there, for say if me think there was a difference, cause when me just come here, to but in a 2004, 2005, yes, there was difference. There was more. Me remember the first time I see Sean Paul Pan one sitting a collect and him a talking a pattern. Next day I go to school, everybody a talk about Sean Paul and Jamaica was the in thing that day. They saw me a hot girl, me and my Jamaican friend them. Yeah, so I don't know, like I think it's a up down thing. And I'm not sure if it would be fair to use charts. We have big song 34 years ago and song la 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 lum la 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 lum num le num 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 that just get platinum with you. You know what I mean? We can't, I don't believe said fear if you talk about the chart them the time there because you never need no chart for sister them they all over the place. Them there where them never did there before. Or where them never did get invited to because they were blacklisted, they were now being involved again at that time. Yeah.
Right. So when you listen to Shaggy's interview with World Music View pertaining to Hot Shot, the album that purportedly sold diamond globally or maybe even in America, right? He mentioned that,
No,
or go ahead, I'm
repeat
sorry.
that way you just say a while ago. You
Hot
go
Shot,
clear it up. Hot shot where you say do what with diamond?
purportedly, we use the word purportedly. I qualify my statement by saying purportedly, right?
Ah, Niall, Niall, me could nobody say diamond part. We can't do
No, no,
that.
no. No, all right, fine. Diamond is a technical term, meaning it would have had to sold diamond 10 million in one jurisdiction. But put it this way, there's no doubt the album sold over 10
So
million
that lot,
globally.
yes, go on through.
Right. In the US alone, the last, let's not get into that. But, right. Shaggy is saying that he got little to no support from the label.
Is that
They
the one where he was in between labels at the time? Like one of the labels
no,
was going under, or
Oh,
no. Let me think about it. Because he,
well, sorry everybody. Welcome. Yeah, big up yourself, brother. You hearing us?
Yes, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's happening, fam?
Yeah, I'm here. 1 second. Lala Bella was talking. Yeah, we're talking about reggae. We're talking about what happened in the 90s with Buju Banton, Shaba Ranks, Capleton, and it was more homophobic music being done back then. So we wanted to know if it affect the artists that came after. Yeah, here we are now. First of all, introduce yourself to us, please.
Yeah, what's up, fam? Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
My name is Steve. I grew up in England and I live in America now, but I have been a reggae fan for a long, long time. I don't even think it's fair to call it just music. You know, to me, reggae is a vibration. It's healing. It's beautiful. It's what I play for my kids. It's what I played during my wife's labor. It's what I jam to. It's
Yeah.
what I feel. It's what moves my body, and it makes me feel like a brother. You know.
All right, big up. Go ahead, Lala Bella. Sorry to cut you off.
no, what you just said here, Steve, I think I saw a video the other day where someone was saying that reggae music is the only music they have to use to I, I wonder if it was you. Are
Yeah, I
you on
think it was
YouTube?
him.
It must have
Yeah,
been
it
you
was.
who made.
I
Oh wow.
saw, I saw him on a clip. He was bigging up, praising reggae so much, yeah. And I reached out to him and said, "Yo, it would be nice if I can forward." And here he is. So
Okay.
I thank
Okay.
you for being here. Go ahead, Sha, Lala Bella.
Double Mint is gone. You know, with what Double Mint was saying that we want to get as much the different perspectives. I
Yeah,
think with Steve being on here, we could reset and
yeah,
pivot to what Double Mint was suggesting, that
yeah,
we try to secure as much perspective as possible so that we could then dialectically arrive at some conclusion. So
I
Steve,
want,
you go ahead, man. You've lived in England, so Lovers Rock, that's where it came from, and so forth. And you're here in America, you could then speak to your experience relative to reggae in England and then now in America. I'm not too sure where in America you live,
Well,
but
no,
you did.
remember it's dancehall.
Oh, it's only. Oh,
no.
sorry, it's
Oh, we
dancehall.
can
Sorry.
pivot to reggae because he's predominantly reggae listeners. If we can,
Um,
my friend Double Bint. Yeah,
But to double, but given the specific topic that we're talking about, the homophobia,
yeah,
I don't think that was necessarily present in reggae.
reggae. Yeah, you are right. You are right. It's more
I
dominantly
want, I want
dancer.
to, I want to add to what Niall just said because earlier I jumped off and made a phone call to Brinsley Ford, right? So he used to tour with Bob, and I said, "Hey, would you like to join the show?" But he's currently organizing a festival coming up this month. But he said, from his perspective on what was in the industry at the time, is that it was unfortunate that the Boom Bye Bye song
Hmm.
became the biggest talking point in the genre, not only not only the genre, but in Jamaica and the Caribbean globally. Even though the topic of the song was so minor in regards to what else was out there in the genre. So he's saying that the boom bye songs of that nature were the minority in the genre, but based on what was happening globally with regards to certain lifestyles, etc., it was highlighted and it became like the face of reggae or the face of Jamaican music, even though other subgenres, other topics of music were being released, but that particular song became the face of Jamaican music, and the entire genre got a negative casting, I would say, a negative shadow was casted on Jamaican music, even though that particular song or anything associated with the song wasn't the majority of what was being released from Jamaica at the time.
Oh,
That makes
okay.
sense.
Right. Neat.
That makes sense because
Just
it doesn't take something big to topple to topple something over, and it just wants
Uh,
small lie, a small inconsistency.
with a
But
compounding effect, where it's just like the song dropped, the song was released at a
Mm-hmm.
certain time in history, and it was just gaslit after that. It's like wrong timing. Maybe not wrong timing, because the intentions of the song was a reaction to what was happening in the wider society at the time. So it's like, okay, he released this song based on what was happening globally, and then the international market said, wait, this is what the song is about. Hey, we have an enemy. This is now our enemy. Then,
mm,
unfortunately, others face the consequences of that song.
Mm-hmm.
so so for earlier, Steve and you, Knight. So for earlier, we were saying that well, I said I don't really believe it kind of kept us stagnant. Maybe, yes, it contributed to holding us or not. We weren't able to propel us fast enough, but I don't really think it held us back. And then we kind of started to talk about the interview that Shaba
Shaba
gave
did, yeah.
in itself, right? And so we were talking about the effects, and me and Niall were talking, but we live in America, both of us, right? So that's why when you came in, I asked you what was the effects of it where you were from. And then since Steve is here and he is from the UK, now living in America, maybe he could tell us the effects of it when, if they know about that interview, what that interview did to the music in the UK society at the time, and then maybe if that was also the feeling he got when he came to America.
Yeah, I'll just say really quickly, I don't know the context of this interview. And to give you a little bit of context on my story and journey, is I was a very asleep individual. I was not woke up to anything. I sleptwalked through most of my adult life. I knew only of Bob Marley, basically, that would come on when I took a vacation or something like this. But I never really connected to the music, And there's a decent Jamaican culture in London, but I was from the north of England, and there's basically no diversity. It's just a sleepy working class town in the northwest of England, and it's just people didn't listen to reggae. There was no outward feelings of it was bad music or anything like that. It just wasn't trendy. It wasn't popular. I didn't get exposed to it too much. And when I was, I had the blessing of basically traveling for many years throughout a lot of Southeast Asia, and the reggae was playing all the time. Always these bars that had the coolest vibe, where you wanted to hang out, was the reggae bars. And I started to really tune into the music, and I started for the first time in my life to develop a relationship to the herb a little bit, and it just opened me up completely. And I started to come online a little bit, and I started to feel that this music, this way of life, these teachings that's embedded in it, this vibrational essence of it is more than just, it's more than music. Like I said, it's a movement. And what I feel as an outsider coming into this and learning more about it is, it feels to me like reggae is having a moment, is having a resurgence because it's necessary. It feels like we need to wake up as a culture, as a people, as a collectively, and reggae might be one of the most transformational vehicles to do that. Transmitted sound waves that have people questioning everything, the systems that we've inherited, and most of us, like me, for most of my life, not questioning them because I didn't know how to question them. So yes, reggae for me is so high vibe, and it was my clip. I said I play it for my children. It's the only thing I put on in the car, and they don't say nothing, they just vibe out, because it's the vibration. But it's also a music of freedom and emancipation, and all of these things that I feel relatively newly exposed to, but it's profoundly moving for me.
So given
Um,
what you, I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Lalabella. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, given what you're saying about the music, how it impacts you, your family, and so forth, are you then of the view that the music is as accessible as it ought to be, and could it be a function of access? Why more individuals aren't interacting with it? Because you're
Yeah.
pretty much saying that, I'm sorry, relative to your children, seemingly the frequency is so irresistible. So how then do we explain that it's not more pervasive than it currently is?
Yeah, that's a very good question, my friend. I feel a little bit like reggae cannot get too popular because it is counter to the oppressive systems, the dominator culture. I don't know, I don't want to hijack the call too much, but I even understand there's maybe a conspiracy theory about Bob Marley's death, that he was so powerful, he was causing such an uprising, he was moving through Europe and people were waking up, all of these things converging. I get deep down into like the psychedelic 60s and the renaissance of psychedelic drugs that happened here in the US around that time, and then the subsequent quote unquote war on drugs. And I don't believe it's a war on drugs at all. I think it was a war on consciousness. They don't want awake people, they don't want conscious people, because those people won't go and fight needless wars, they won't kill the brothers and sisters, they won't do what we are currently doing. So I do feel, a part of me feels like reggae is limited, and it's not pushed out because it's awakening music. It'll wake people up, and I don't think a society that wants people asleep wants people waking up.
Right. And in America, we're familiar with COINTELPRO, where there were de jure government level initiatives to suppress certain level of consciousness. And as a function of that, they targeted the radio, the music that was played in the radio and so forth. And in response, Bob Marley wanted to ingratiate himself with Black Americans. And him singing about the bubble in the top 100 and so forth spoke to all of that. He desperately wanted to reach a people who were being who he was denied access to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, there's some credence to the notion that the world, the powers that be, are of the view that a certain level of consciousness, if it comes by way of music, that they try their best, and that's when the there's this notion that reggae was suppressed and dancehall was promoted. So that argument has been made too. Not that we can factually substantiate the claims. So these claims have been made, but then subsequently, with the incident related to Shaba's interview or Buju's lyrics, we then clearly see how dancehall itself was maligned,
Mm.
whether internally or by external agency. We don't know. Within reason, we can't definitively speak to it.
So now I do think that that thing there is a push and pull, like I said before. But it's what keeps all of our music relevant. I don't think there's ever gonna be a time where both reggae and dancehall is on the up and up. Meaning it's just dominating. You know what I'm saying? It's that thing where there's different places. So like you point to the Shaba, right? But then we can point to the Elephant Man, the Liquor John them in the early 2000 them time they cut forward black. But then we can talk say once when you cry, I cry and all of them song the start drop, nobody name member dancer like that. But then Cartel and Movado start war and the Alliance them start war and be a war and then people member back dancehall again. And then too much of that a go on and people like so it's a thing where the music is like it's a balance. Sometimes it's reggae, another time it's dancehall. Sometimes it's reggae, another time it's dancehall. What I hope is that when it's on the dance hall time, the artists them actually like making sure they make as much moves out of it. You know what I mean? Get as much substance. Like make sure you plant a lot of because this is now your time. I think when it's not the time of the genre, then individually artists will still shine. But like no, we're dancehall have this exposure, this big thing on it happening now. Even Afro beats right now, I get beaten just in case whatever do. Like so, it's just the time again. I don't think reggae doing much this year. No this, no this. But at the same time, I know say okay next year it's probably their year or the year after. So we just got to make sure we capitalize on when it's our time. But this seems normal in my opinion.
So,
Hey,
so,
Steve.
so here,
uh,
Go
okay,
ahead, Knight, and then Lala Bella.
right.
Steve, a question for you based on what Doublemint just said regarding the push or pull or the balance per se.
Why
Now,
night? Why
dance.
night? Why night?
Yeah.
I'm back in a minute, yeah?
All right. Now, regarding reggae, as someone with an affinity for reggae, right, Steve? Are you listening? I think I should ask it this way: who are some of the more recent or the newer reggae acts that you're listening to? For example, a Yaxter, a Protege, even a Taurus Riley, or Runkus, or is it predominantly more of the old school reggae? So the Bob, the Dennis Brown, stuff like that. Are you mixing it with current more recent acts, I would say newer acts.
Yeah.
What's your playlist looking like?
Yeah, I would say the bulk of it is the older stuff, and I've had a real affinity recently for listening to live concerts. You know, I've heard the songs many times, but I'm going back now listening to live sets because there's something that seems much more alive on a live recording. You know, the chants and the choirs and the instruments and the solos and everything takes on an energy of its own. But you mentioned Protege and newer artists that are getting sprinkled in the mix. And to, you know, the point about dance hall as well, that's not been something. I don't even know if I know a dance hall song, which is interesting because now I'm curious, you know, and I'll get over there. But what my brain with limited understanding wants to story make out of that is that dance hall, or my, I guess my perception of it is more about the dancing part of it, you know, the party and moving your body and all of that stuff. I don't know how much that it feels to me like the reggae, like the core of the reggae, those old artists that really started this tidal wave that the new artists are carrying forward was deeply profound in the lyrics and in the movement of the music. And I don't know if that exists in dance hall. I'd be very open to finding out, but that's why I just think people find what they need when they need it, you know, and maybe dance hall is what's calling me next. But the reggae has been a big part of my life for the last few years, and it's just mostly listening to the older artists, probably like an 80-20 split of old reggae versus new reggae.
I definitely understand where you're coming from, right? When I discovered Janis Joplin and that kind of music, and then I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable.
Hmm.
And then tangentially, I would consume whatever music was around that time. And there's so much of it, right? To the point where it's virtually impossible to even make room for contemporary music,
Yeah.
given how much music was done before. And I think you and I would agree that subjectively we are of the view that the older music was better. That's how I look at it. You talk about the live performances with Bob Marley and so forth, especially for the fact that you don't have that many people performing at that level today. Bob Marley still stands out
Mm.
and so forth. So I think unfortunately I think the craftsmanship of the music back then was just so much superior to what it is now. And this is not my knocking contemporary musicians. I just think more effort was like with Bob Marley. He was deliberate when he was working with Chris Blackwell. They fused rock and other genre as far as the guitars and so forth into the music. With that cross pollination, made it palatable for a wider non reggae
Mm.
audience. And when you look at these reviews, non Caribbean people reviewing Bob Marley or music of that period, they get so excited about the actual music, not just the lyrics, the music itself. And I think most of these quote unquote musicians today are oblivious to what music is.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the difference is. That there's just so much music from back then. And you may never get to contemporary music. And I think most Jamaicans don't even know how to distinguish dancehall versus reggae. It's not necessarily the lyrics. It's the
It's the
music itself,
sound.
the rhythm, the one drop versus the digital sound with dancehall.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think
So
most of it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doublemint.
no, most of what?
I'm sorry.
Most of what?
No, I was saying that a lot of folks, a lot of Jamaicans don't even know how to distinguish between reggae and dancehall because uh, Yaksta technically is a dancehall artist. It's not the consciousness of his lyrics that inform it being reggae.
Hmm.
It's the actual musical component to it. You know, what I mean, usually one drop constitutes reggae, and there are. I'm being simplistic at this point, but it's not the lyrics that informs a particular song being reggae versus dancehall.
True.
Mm.
But I also feel like what you're introduced to could have a lot to do with how you see the music, right?
Facts.
Because Steve was introduced to Bob Marley. What about the people that was introduced to I Wayne and Sizzler and things like that? It just depends on what your introduction is and how much you deep dive in it. The One of the things I noticed about when Steve was talking, he said he he's probably gonna have to look into dance hall now. It's gonna have to be his new thing. And I still think he'll enjoy it as much as he enjoys Bob. What I do think though is he'll resonate with the older artists more than he resonates with the newer artists because the times that they're talking about is still his time. You know what I'm saying? And he'll still have a better understanding of those. I don't necessarily think um that means that it won't read. Let me not say that part. I just feel like I want to hear once he dives into dancehall, once he figures out what the difference is, once he starts recognizing more, especially if he starts listening to 90s dancehall. Oh, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be a wrap. Poor Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
Poor Bob. Let me just say that. But I do think you should start there, Steve. 90s dance hall. You can even go back to 80s, late 70s after that, and even 2000s after, but start with 90s dance hall.
You know what, Doublemint? I hope he gets. I wanted to respond to that, but like for example, when it comes to music in my
Yeah.
household, I don't play dancehall because of the lyrical content. My young children, and I want this. I would not want my young children to be exposed to contemporary dancehall. The graphicness of the lyrics, or even the images, the optics, and so forth. So my better half is Ethiopian, and I'm
Uh-huh.
Jamaican,
Uh-huh.
and I have them listening to reggae, and they do listen to some 90s and 80s dancehall,
Mm.
and I'm very deliberate in filtering what I expose them to even then. But when it comes to reggae, for all intents and purposes, I don't have to be as guarded.
You
And
know,
go ahead.
I here's my thing though. So growing up, my dad was older music, ska, more reggae vibes, right? And my mom, she was more reggae, but then like dancehall. So like the Red Rat them, the Buju them, the Beanie them, like those the Bounties, those kinds of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had like I would say a good balance. Now I'm keeping it real. A lot of those songs that I was singing out back in the days, I went me a big man with picnic. Me know what they mean. And I think about those types of things, but I don't not play the music. You know why? I play my music and my daughter goes to listen to her K-pop. I
Right.
play the music and my son puts his headphones on and picks up his drum things and starts drumming. Don't nobody give two craps about what I'm playing, what I'm listening to. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, they recognize the music, they know they've been around, all of that good stuff, but I pour into what they like too. So it's not just about what I like, but I want them to know the type of music I like, the type of music I listen to. And I don't I listen to clean songs. So like even big up DJ.com. A lot of my music that I play around him have swag and clean. So I play those. It's the new music that him take the time to go in, filter them out if them not come clean. And so I don't have a problem. I think I just have to do the extra step because dancehall is the music I prefer. And so I get it when you prefer the reggae and you play that in your house. But me not go water down my thing. I want them get the whole experience there. You see me?
So,
So
no,
that's
but
just
hold
how
on.
I figured out how to do it, so it works for everybody.
So you're pointing me to
Okay.
options where I could go to get clean music, right? For the fact that I didn't realize I wasn't aware of that option, I had to filter the only way that I knew how to. I grew up on reggae and I grew up on dancehall, 90s. Bounty Killer was my DJ, right?
Am I DJ?
But
That's I five.
I five. No, I listen to words, lyrics. I look for the meaning in things. I am very pedantic when it comes to lyrics. And I'm trying to shape my children a certain kind of way. And a lot of the music contradict that standard. And to your point, of course, it's appropriate for me, but it's not necessarily appropriate for my children. That extra level of effort required to filter the music, make it so that I consume it less. And if the music were more palatable, I would play it a lot more at home. But I'm glad that you mentioned that option. What's his name? DJ what?
DJ.com. I follow him on SoundCloud.
Just DJ.com. Just
DJ.com 876. Sorry.
okay, okay. I'm like, wow,
Like
that's the how did you get that domain?
DJ dot no, but it's you
Okay.
spell out .com. DJDOTCOM.
So I have a
DJ dot.
question.
I'm gonna put the link.
DJ876.com.
I'm gonna put the link in the side chat over here. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
All
876.
right.
Okay, go ahead,
I have a
Mike.
question. Yeah, I have a question for the panel, but starting with Steve.
Okay.
With and I don't mean this facetiously. I've always wanted to ask this as well. But do you think that Bob's what can I say? Bob's so Steve, coming from North London, right? Do you think that Bob's articulation or the way that he most of his music was actually in standard English, not necessarily Creole or Patois? Was that what did that make it easier for you to connect to the vibration of the reggae music, seeing that your introduction to the genre was not only from the biggest artist or the greatest artist from the genre ever, but the way that the language he sang the music in was actually in one that you understood his language. Was did that have anything to do with your reception of the music, or it was strictly vibrational? So regardless of how he sounded or what he was saying, the music spoke to you. The beat, the instruments involved, and the message, or the fact that he sang in standard English you connected with them, you were able to decipher or decode the message even better that way.
Yeah, bro, it's a great question. I think it's both. I think Bob being able to use English and actually use a very simple, stripped back version of English. Like if you listen
Mhm.
to the lyrics, like there are simple words with very profound messages. And for somebody that was connecting to the vibration and the beat and the music, the making, without that bridge to actually understand what was going on, it's just a feeling, and a feeling is really good. Like, when something makes you feel good, when something moves you. But you might, if it's only the feeling, you might come into your mind and be like, well, what is this? It's great that it feels good, but then having Bob be able to speak in my native tongue and make sense and connect those dots really added a layer of understanding to what he was trying to say, to what the music was. Because otherwise, without that context, I think I could vibe all day to that, but I think I would only vibe to it and feel how joyous and pleasant it is, but not necessarily understand that it is joyous and pleasant, but also at the same time, it's confronting and challenging in the best way. It's really asking you to question your roles that you play and your systems and how you vote with your consciousness. And I think without that English piece, it wouldn't have been as accessible to me. So it's a good question.
Now,
Go
for
ahead.
Nile and Double, is do you get that same answer from people you come across, people you speak to who have the same affinity for reggae music, do they say, well, I listened to this because I understood what the artist was saying, whether it's Bob or any of the other reggae artists or even dancehall artists, for example? Because I will meet foreigners or people who will listen to, let's say, Sean Paul, right? They might know the chorus, but once Sean gets into the verse, they're like, okay, I'm just vibing to the tempo of the song at that point, right? While with Bob, you're able to, because it's in standard English, you're able to connect with what he's saying. But have you had the same experience with people you come across, Nile and Double?
So, so I think most people who listen to Sean Paul's music, they love it because sonically it's very appealing. But the majority of them seldom know what he's talking about. And with what Steve's saying here, yeah, sonically it's very appealing. But for the fact that he's speaking in my native tongue or using a lingua franca that I could relate to, it's that much more impactful. And before I go over to before I end, even with me with contemporary dancehall, having not lived in Jamaica meaningfully for approximately 4 decades, there is an interpretive gap for myself too. That a lot of times when I hear the music, I'm like for example, even the word pre, I really did have to look it up when that word came out back then. I had no idea. I wasn't familiar with any zeitgeist that would have informed it. So when I was hearing it, I'm like, yo, what the hell does that mean? And there are a lot of things. I mean, I'm Jamaican still, so eventually I get it. But imagine those individuals who have no, who do not have the Jamaican connectivity that I have. And of course, Alpha Blondie and those kind of musicians who sing in French. I love their music and I have no idea what they're saying. And back to Steve's point, it limits how much I consume it. You know, he has a song with my daughter's name, and that's all I know. That part, Jerusalem. That's it. I have no clue about whatever else he's saying. And if that were in English, based on how sonically pleasing it is, I would play it a whole lot more. And I do play it a lot. But most people won't even bother with it because it's in French.
For real, for real. Jamaica vibes to the link there, you see me? You ask Doubles a question, White Night, Doubles, you
Yeah, the
answer
same
now?
question for her. Same question for her.
You know what, man, while you talk, my mind go all over the place because last night my friend said to me, say, she said, Double, I understand why you always there, Jamaica, back in idea. And this back in the days is the same about 10 years ago. She said, I understand why you always there, Jamaica. And so you're saying to me that you're removed from Jamaica like 40 years. And I'm thinking to myself, July 4th, I was here 26 years, and you must be out your mind. I could never out Jamaica out of me. You man? But I get it though. I still have to ask questions. You still have to, what I mean, get introduced, just like everybody in Jamaica, to new slang saying. So maybe it just take we a little bit longer here sometimes to get it. But if you're still listening around, trying to be a part of, it's my opinion that it's gonna find its way to you. Yeah. For answer, I think yes, because Bob is singing in English, it's more palatable. I'm gonna say this. I really feel like I don't want our artists them singing I know English. More on them singing, say it in a patois. Steve, I hope you're getting what I'm saying, honey. I'm gonna try to go back and forth for you, but I really want our artists to stick to patois, especially dancehall. And the reason why is it's cannot be watered down. Whatever watered down version is making it into the international space, I'm okay with that because it's a small percentage. I feel like sometimes we want international appeal, but we don't understand, like, similar to when people from different places move and live in our country, it's gonna change because they're gonna come with their things, their ways, their what they like, what they don't like. And so for our shit on the ground, I feel like it needs to remain that way Now, what is going to set you apart as an artist is when you've managed to break that barrier. When you break the barrier, then you're now an international artist. You're playing on a different level, different game. But I don't think we should change the core of what no, I don't think if it changed. But yes, I think a lot of people that I speak to on a regular basis, what it is for them is that they can't understand it. Another thing is like when you said they sing, somebody said they sing the chorus, but not like the verses. I feel that's not just them. That's a lot of people. A lot of us only know the choruses to songs. We probably know the first verse too, but then we just know the chorus. And so if we do that in general, right? I find it hard to like force it or want them to. As long as they know the song, I don't give a fuck. Respectfully.
So I agree with you that the music should remain Jamaican in sound, but the way in which reggae and even some dancehall songs remain Jamaican, but they were more palatable, I think uh, some level of effort should be made in the event that an artist aspire to go to a wider audience. Reggae music, to Steve's point, is such an important music that wherein there was struggle anywhere in the world. Uh, like look at Rhodesia, subsequently Zimbabwe. What Bob Marley and his generation of reggae musicians were doing was motivating them, keeping them motivated to the point where they were in their struggles. That music was the anthem that kept them moving. And one could argue that if they didn't have that soundtrack in the background, that actually, you know what, let me not even exaggerate the impact of the music, but they appreciated the music so much that when Rhodesia became Zimbabwe, they invited Bob to perform. They couldn't afford to bring him. He paid to go there himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I have friends from Zimbabwe who was there on the ground at the time. It was so impactful that the prisoners escaped, and a whole we all know the history. The
Mm-hmm.
music went beyond just satisfying someone's ears. You know, I mean, it was actionable enough to contribute to our people fighting for their liberation.
Yeah,
Um,
but I think okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. Sorry to cut you. Do you think to the panel? Do you think the reggae music of today, the newer artists, you think the music that's coming out of Jamaica, the reggae music lost its revolutionary edge?
Um,
No,
Uh, yeah, you don't think
no,
so?
no, I don't.
Which artists know? Which Jamaican artists, reggae artists, singing with that same venom like Bob Marley, Peter Touch, and reggae artists
So
from back in the
that's
days?
the difference now. I think the artists have become more like they do more different kinds of music. What you call diverse. They're
Mm,
not more diverse. So I feel like a lot of those music was that way for a long time. You know what I mean? But
mm-hmm,
now they dibble and dabble and try different things. So they're exploring more. So I don't think it's the but do they do that type of song? Yeah, look pan what's his name the other day? What's his name? It was just
Youngster.
saying it's a dance hall. Yeah, you know, film music and Protege having moment where they kabaka at one point. Like there's an artist coming up named David Slur, big up my artist, yeah. Um he's doing his thing too. So like yeah, me not gonna say people out there nah do the revolutionary music anymore. It is what people are interested in that is taking over, and right now people want to feel good. Times rough out a door,
mm-hmm.
and them want to feel good. Them want to get them drugs via music.
And the revolution also looks completely different today
Facts.
in
Facts.
comparison to 3, 4, 5, 6 decades ago, where it's the fight was different. It's the same fight, but I would say the avenue that the fight was being it was taking place in is completely different, right? So, for example, when they played Bob's music, when the Burning Wall was being torn down, it's a completely different revolution today compared to back then. So I wouldn't say they've lost the fight, they've lost the hunger. It's just, it looks different. It looks different. The messaging is different. The fight is different. And also the oppression is still different as well. It's on more, it's now in the digital era, I would say. So if you listen to I Win, I Win hasn't lost his venom, I would say. So it just depends on who you listen to and the messaging and also the fight that they're fighting. It's not as omnipresent as it was back then, where 90% of the songs were about fighting Babylon. Babylon still exists, but it looks different today than it did 5 decades ago.
I
Jamaica
just
vibes.
want to, bless up to everyone on the panel. Bless
Hi,
up to
good
everyone.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bless up, Michael.
Bless up.
I'm not too long reaching, so I don't know what part to jump in or whatever, but basically, when the music back in the Bali days, right? The music was much slower, right? A lot more people were more hungry for this, hungry for that. So the fight, the revolutionary thing was going on with the world was mostly highlighted based on the suffering, injustice, and everything. So as time progresses and people now suffer as bad no more and things becomes a little bit more easier, the message hasn't changed, but the amount of people that do the same message has kind of changed, where you don't have a focus on just a Bob Marley and the Wailers and a Peter Tosh. Now you have a variety of different artists who now come get a front row seat, and like a Dennis Brown, a lot of singers. Sometimes we don't mention these singers, Gregory Isaac, Dennis Brown. A lot of these singers were singing revolutionary music and all type of stuff, and I think some of those artists get lost in the past, where they don't even get highlighted or speak highly enough. Because a lot of times when I listen to conversation on YouTube, most of the people are talking about dancehall and even reggae, most of the time them just go back to the 90s. What happened to the 80s? The 80s paved the way for the 90s,
Yeah,
So
and we
to
definitely
me,
mentioned it is. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
yeah, but to me, it's like most people just focus from the 90s upward. You know what I say? And sometimes I feel that's an injustice to the many artists that paved the way from the 80s. Somebody else can chime in.
Let me touch on, like, for example, with me, I love history, I love politics. When I say politics, I mean political science, philosophy, and so forth. And when I listen to the individuals, Gregory, Bob, Dennis, those people, I truly believe that they were better in tune with the wider world as it relates to the issues of their respective day. When like the understanding that Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and their generation have when it comes to even Africa or the wider world, it is still superior to mine, even though I think in my vantage point was way superior to what they had when they were in Jamaica. I don't know how they managed to do it, but even Peter Tosh, when you listen to equal rights and he talks about equal rights and justice, everybody's crying for peace. That's some meaningful philosophy, and he's speaking about the slogans. Everybody's crying for peace, but it's not about peace. It's about equal rights and justice. And most people conflate the two references, thinking they're one and the same. And Peter Tosh there in Jamaica, and when you listen to that song, it speaks. It stood the test of time because it still resonates. We see conflicts in the world, and my problem is that when I listen to most of these seemingly erudite musicians, the ones who've even gone to college, they're still not at that level. That's just my being pedantic, my being critique, and what I want out of the music. Now, not everyone wants the same thing from the music as I do, but I enjoy life when I don't have to guard my ears and be mindful of certain things. And when I look at the zeitgeist in Jamaica, it doesn't speak to the necessary social awareness that existed back then, unfortunately. When I even listen to what's his name, Yaksta,
Yeah.
most of what I hear is sophistry. Sophistry sounds good, it's poetry, but there isn't substance coming from it. But when I test Peter Tosh, Bunny Wheeler, Bob, Toots, all of those people, the substance is perplexing to me that these men, most of them didn't have meaningful education, but they managed to secure necessary sound reasoning, and they packaged that music in such a palatable way that it went beyond the shores of Jamaica and it went beyond their generation. Again, I'm speaking for myself.
And that's a trick, you know. You hear what you say? Education. That I want them put together and tell us so we have to know.
I'm
I
glad you
mean,
said that, right? Let me say this real quick, because they do argue that the more you learn, like what's his name? See, what's your name again? I'm sorry. When you talk about your children, they say children ask the best philosophical questions. The more educated you are, the less inclined you are able to ask meaningful questions because you're conditioned to, in essence, dumb yourself down
Mm-hmm.
to play to satisfy the system that you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry for interjecting. Go ahead.
No, you never interject. Just say something about your point. It was a good point.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, I agree. I think that last point was beautiful. I think I resonate that personally. I spent a lot of my early life and early adult life chasing academic status and master's degrees and worshiping intellect, essentially. And I think what you were speaking about just a minute ago about, you know, Bob and Peter Tosh and these guys, how much more poignant it seemed maybe is because perhaps they weren't educated, quote unquote, in the system, but they were very
Right.
educated in the matters
Right.
of the soul. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
free
Mm-hmm.
individuals. They
Mm-hmm.
were so free. So these people, these just absolute trailblazers of the time were more tapped in, more wise, and closer to the truth of whatever we now think and worship through institutional education, which we all know is whoever the winners write history, right? Like we learn what
Right.
we are told to learn, and you know, in
Right.
English schools will tell one story, American schools will tell another story, Jamaican schools will tell another story. But at the same time, regardless of where we all come from, like inside, we're made of the same stuff. And I think Bob and Peter and those guys from First Principles, they understood the human spirit, they understood personal sovereignty and freedom, and that's why their music was so just clear. It was so poignant, you know.
I'm not. I'm just gonna say that I love what you said about first principles, but I'm not gonna hog the mic. So let someone
No,
else
go
chime
ahead.
in.
Go
No,
ahead.
No,
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 go
no,
ahead,
no, 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 no.
Ruben.
I prefer to listen, honestly.
You
All
see,
right, go ahead, Jamaica vibes.
all of we like for listen to,
Yeah.
man. And if
Well,
you
I'm
did
gonna be
a talk,
selfish.
if you did a
No
talk
problem, man.
foolishness, mother tell us
Yeah.
if you stop talk long
Yeah, but
time.
we like it, man. You see me?
All right, I have a simple little question, right?
Go
Because
ahead.
remember, saying those days there was no internet and certain good things, but the music still was able to travel around the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a thought that just came to my mind just a minute ago. That what was the system? I don't have the answer to this. What is the system that was in place that made the music travel around the world in those times when there was no internet access and all of these things? Somebody have the answer.
Hmm.
So Steve touched
A
on
lot of
first
different
principles, right?
things.
Steve touched on first principles, and uh, that generation of musicians, they didn't settle for the status quo. They, they were of the view that we have a desire to do this, and for the fact that the references needed to get it done doesn't exist, we're going to create it, and we're going to. You see Bob with his guitar in his hand, touring Babylon by bus. That was first principle move coming from the Caribbean.
Also, not to cut you, paying his own way a lot of the time to go out there and showcase what we are going
Cor-
through.
Correct. So he what was needed to get the music across to his desired audience, that infrastructure did not exist, and they had to think from a first principle perspective to get the work done. And on that album, the live album, Steve talked about live album again. What's the name of that live album they did in California, Santa Barbara? Where he was talking about Peter or Bunny. They all were making excuses as to why they didn't want to tour and whatever, whatever. And Bob was like, his kids need to eat, and you could look at it as a metaphor. It's not necessarily his own, only his biological children. Bob knew the mission. He had a vision, And he knew that if not for him, again, from a first principle perspective, it would not have gotten done. And he made all the sacrifices. And that's why today when I hear these artists talking about solar arena, solar this, solar that, and I'm like, all of what they're talking about today contradict everything Bob Marley did. You know, and when the gentleman mentioned that part of Europe where reggae and dancehall only entered into that space 10 years ago, I'm curious. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a Sean Paul or Shaggy who first introduced reggae and dancehall to that community, because they have a similar approach to Bob. Their whole notion is to expand the music. It's not about my personal gain only. The objective is to expand the music. I hear people admonishing Sean Paul for performing in Russia in front of a crowd of 1,000 people. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you
Word.
view that as being negative?
Wait. Pause.
Pause.
So you are saying that you believe Sean Paul's career was for the advancement. He was doing it for the advancement of dancehall music?
You have, in any action, right? You have multiple different layers of reaction. There's this gentleman in England, Edmund Burke. You know, what I mean, he's one who posited the whole piecemeal type effort and the primary reaction, secondary reaction, and different reactions. Sean Paul clearly gained from what he was doing, but he was always cognizant that there was a need to expand the culture. That was always in the back of his mind.
All
I'm not
right,
saying it was his.
One last question. I'm so sorry. And what gave you that impression? Was it something he said in an interview, or
Right, he's spoken ad nauseum about the desire to expand the genre,
okay?
and
all right.
I,
Good, and finish.
right, and to the extent that I would surmise any motive, I definitely have to prioritize what he said for himself.
No,
And,
definitely. That's why I'm ask you the question. Yeah, man.
right.
All right, so like I was saying, how did Bob Marley the music get for travel around the world a certain ways? I remember I said in those times they was mostly pressing vinyl records, right?
Hmm.
And no people know what vinyl records is, but vinyl records, and them may press up say them press up all 1,000 copy, and them say them a bring that guy Europe. You know what I'm saying? Somebody out of the crew got Europe and bring them got a record shop and them thing there. That's how the music first started to reach overseas, even in America. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to look at the role Chris Blackwell of Island Records play in Bob Marley overseas also. Let's not forget that part.
Yeah, man, we didn't know. That's why we mentioned him fusing the different genres, because it was Chris Blackwell's vision for Bob Marley to work with talent outside of reggae, right?
Yeah, that's why I
So,
say I didn't know. That's why I say I came in the reasoning later. I don't know what was said earlier, but
yeah,
no
man, no
being
worries, no worries, no
right.
worries, no worries. So, yeah, so we definitely underscore and strongman and steelman your argument. We'll talk.
But I would want to ask him the question then, since he came in the conversation late.
True.
I'm not sure where you are in the world.
Yeah, I know
Jamaican
you.
vibes.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know
you're there
you.
in New York. Or how long you been here? But we were speaking towards I wanted to know what your opinion of the genre was, which is dancehall, and we had incorporated reggae too. So, what your opinion of Jamaican music was, once Shaba did the interview.
Well, when Shaba do the interview and we see what happened to his career, then we realize enough artists now go on walk the line there. You know what I mean? Say them chose the middle ground, and you can't even blame them for that, because them a look on the cars and the thing what happened to Shaba. You know what I mean? Say so. Is you can look on it two ways. Say Shaba hold him one, and no people agree with Shaba. Say Shaba stand him ground, hold the ground, my youth. Now back down and really. And you go with some people that say John no Shaba. You never realize what you do. So there's many ways to dissect that. But did it hurt the genre? Not really. It hurt Shaba, but it didn't really hurt the genre, because the genre still here doing what it's doing to this day.
So Jamaica Vibes, in listening to you the other day, right? You've done work with Wu-Tang. Now
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if it was early Wu-Tang before Wu-Tang even worked with Junior Reid, or maybe that it was at that time. Um, but in listening to you, I can't help but think that you were in New York in the early 1990s. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
And I don't know if you're in Brooklyn or in the Bronx. You know, we have Moody's record in the Bronx and so forth.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay, I'm not that familiar with Brooklyn or Bronx, right? You don't think that with what was going on with Shaba being an Arsenio Hall show, he was a mainstream presence in America at the time.
Yeah.
He was from dancehall, right? But
Yes.
his trajectory with Epic Record and so forth, they catapulted him in mainstream America. It wasn't a niche space that they say, yo, Shaba from reggae and dancehall. They had all intentions like that. Those his album, right, within the space of a month or two went gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was that commercially viable at that time before the interview, and clearly we haven't seen anyone except for Shaggy and Sean Paul who've been that impactful in America. You know what I
And
mean?
that's why I said to you, say, based on the interview with Shaba did, it kind of hurt Shaba, but did not hurt the genre.
Here's why I'm pushing back on that, because I honestly don't think Shaba would have, this is mere speculation, of course, right? Given the appetite for the music at that time, given what the machines were doing to push the music,
What do you mean the
Shaba,
machine? Yeah, what do you mean the machine?
the
Okay.
labels. 'Cause, you know, Shaka Demus and Pliers, right? They were doing very good with that song. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's, and you definitely would have seen what Supercat was doing with the hip hop space in New
Yeah.
York and what
Okay.
and so forth. So clearly at that time you could see where the you know what I mean the potentials were within reason limitless.
Yeah.
But after
But
Shaba's
you also got to understand, even though Supercat reached me, there was other people as far as management, even with Shaba that was doing work behind the scenes to try to get him on labels. All those artists, you know what I say? And them would have them hot name. 'Cause I remember saying, when a record label here say a artist a mash up Jamaica, and the artists run to them at them time, them go down to Jamaica and here we go on and then running on the artist. So it was the same thing over here. Remember Supercat living in America, Shabba live in America. I know the whole of them man there. You know what I say? Somebody just I show you say a lot of things were in place at that time, even though you may not be on the front to see it, a lot of things was going on. For example, when Ninja Man was in America, and I don't know if you know this, Ninja Man was signed to an Italian dude named Nick.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that the same Nick? That's not the
Yeah,
same
man,
Nick
yeah,
from
man,
Factory,
yeah,
right?
man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. Without going into certain things.
Okay,
One of the
okay.
things, yeah, one of the things Nick did, at them times when them a go around and distribute the music in a record shop and them thing there, Nick get people to go buy back the record out of the record. Remember them a give the record shop them the music on consignment, So say
Right.
me Michael have him record shop. I'ma give Michael 100 record on consignment. I'ma say, all right, Michael, I'm go forward and see how much you sell. Me now get 100 people to go buy back them 100 record from Michael. Michael, I don't know. Michael, I call me. I said, Jamaica Vibes, no more copy of the record. Them don't sell out. And I'm going to do is bring back Michael the same 100 copy.
So let me ask you then, to what end were they doing that?
A lot. A lot.
Well,
A
all right,
lot. You not hear me? A lot. Me so sorry. Me did a hope so now. A lot.
so hold
Yeah.
on. So all right. Clearly Shaba's records, when he went gold, you're not suggesting that the same principles were in place.
A
Machinery
lot
was
of
in place.
principles, listen, a lot of
He
principles
not
are in
suggest
place
nothing.
with
He
these
just a
record
talk.
labels that you don't see. It's just like them say, record labels may be buying views with bots and them things. They see artists like Drake. Drake can sell millions and millions and records and millions and stream, right? The record company may just pay for even 100,000 bats and whatever, but them don't do it on a large scale for it look a certain way. So even though Drake have a million, maybe 100,000, just I give a reference, not saying that's something that, but I'm just giving you an example because a lot of these informations are out there.
So here's my question, right? I, 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 they find whatever means necessary to market their products, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in some respects, to stimulate sales, they may create an artificial demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, that would be scaled only to a certain degree, right? It, there wouldn't be any sense in we print 1,000 records and then we go and buy back those 1,000 records.
Say that again.
If in the event that this machinery is in place,
Mm-hmm.
and it applies to all facets of society,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Clearly, they wouldn't intend to print 1,000 records and then buy back the 1,000 record.
Yeah, talk about me.
There's a certain
I'm telling you something I know for a fact. This is not something I'm making up.
so here's what I'm saying then. How then would they make money if they're the ones buying back the products that they sell?
No, look
It's not
on
about
the,
making the
it's
money.
not that. The first
Yes.
impression, just like I said, first week sales. This is the example. First week, the 100 tune them gone. Michael called me demanding that him need 100 more. Now when me bring Michael that 100 more, me no care how long Michael take for sell it. 'Cause now the tune up on radio, the tune I play, even though me buy it back, me I spend money for it up on radio. People are here, people are love it. People start coming Michael. So even if you take Michael 5 more months to sell that 100 copy, I'm gonna wait till him finish sell that 100 copy. I me go there the next week or a month and him sell 25, me collect for me 25, still owe me for 75.
I'm
It's
right.
just like these record labels nowadays. A lot of times people don't realize when they hear even a Chris Brown song, for example, playing 100 times on the radio on one station, X amount of time during an hour. That's what that's really called.
You talking about the payola? Is that what you're going?
No, it's not really payola. It's a commercial.
Okay. So
That's what records do. This advertisement. It's just like you watch the news and you see the same Pepsi commercial 5 times. That's advertisement. Even if it's only for 30 seconds, even if it's only for a minute. And
so
the
I agree with.
label,
Sorry, I agree with what you're saying, and that's why I spoke in abstract. The machine behind the artist.
right.
You're going into the weeds, right? I'm not saying there isn't a machine, but my question is to what end is the machine going to consume that which it creates? How then does the machine make money if some of that consumption doesn't come organically from the marketplace?
Yeah, but you have to remember, say, in our
So
businesses, business people take risk every day. That's one thing with business people. Them not afraid to take risk. What I say,
so
so you have to
so
get
that
the government.
thanks. So Nile, to that question there, that's why I feel like what music now do what it's supposed to do. It wasn't organic.
I'm sorry, say it
So
again.
I said that's why I believe dancehall music isn't doing what it's supposed to do. It wasn't organically introduced to a lot of these places. A lot of it was the engine. Like this thing, me hear what you say about Sean Paul, right? Me hear you. But this thing, Shaggy too, like enough of them too. This thing, I don't think it was organic. And so to me, because it was force fed here, he's telling and you know this too. I feel like you know this. So the information that he just said, you know it. To me, it's marketing. It's how you get it out there. Because even though the labels is spending money on Drake, right? I'm not disagreeing. People know. People
Mhm.
want to know. People who are Drake fans, which is a lot of them, 300 million plus access, you know what I mean, of people, and then we can go around the world. So the amount of people that have this interest is different than of like our artists. So when we do things, we expect it to look similar to that. And so what the labels do is them did a push we up. Them did a put we up there, you know, a place we in a some certain
Did
did
we
I
lose
put
her?
we in a certain places, not organically. And because of that, to me, is why there is not this real interest. Because what it is was we're gonna share it with you anyways. You're gonna learn this way. So they're not taking the time to actually say, oh, I like the artist here. Let's go and look into another. Let's go and do another thing. Let's go and do it's basically circled around this one person, right? That the label is pushing. And then it is like just me want this big force feed, right? With no real substance. My find say that's why I asked Michael the other day, what are you looking for? Are you looking for quick returns or do you want organic growth? Because you say anything will grow organic, hard, hard. And that is the difference with reggae and dancehall, in my opinion. Yeah.
But
And
but it
another part of the thing I want to share with them as far as the dancehall, with even with Sean Paul and Shaggy and enough people. One thing I don't want to overlook, the influence that VP Records had on the market also.
Agreed.
so here's what I'm saying, right? In the capital marketplace, right?
Hmm.
Or any business that you have, for it to be successful, there has to be some modicum of awareness.
Hmm.
And I don't view marketing a product as not being organic. Marketing is a function of the marketplace. You have to bring forth a part within degree a certain awareness. To the extent that music isn't growing organically, um,
We.
I, I wouldn't view marketing as a
I can ask
reference
you,
that
I don't want to cut you now, because I not be disrespectful, but let me try to show you what I mean.
uh-huh.
Imagine 2026 and so much millions of people listen to Sean Paul and know who Sean Paul is. And today, 2026, people still think say Sean Paul Spanish. So what the fuck the label them a do?
Well,
All them a
all right.
make it so, all them a make it so say he's getting there organically, which means say you know about Sean Paul, where Sean Paul come from, and the other music will come from this one too. They don't. They just force feed him because him I gonna get them back, feed them money. It's not about Sean. It's not about Jamaica the music. It's about Sean Paul.
Sean Paul being perceived as being Spanish is largely a function of the individuals who deem it to be Spanish, given their assumption that Jamaicans have a certain look. I don't think the label necessarily to market that is a Jamaican
Oh,
dancehall artist. I don't necessarily, you know what I mean? It's like if Nora Jones were singing reggae, they would assume that she can't be Jamaican because she's not black. The people who perceive Sean Paul to be black is a function of how they, the individual, see the world.
No, but
Because
enough
they're of
people.
the view that real quick, they're of the view that Jamaicans have a certain look.
No, but enough people think that Jamaican people look like Bob Marley too. What you mean? And not
Well,
everybody know how Jamaican look. Like me meet people, but only hear of the name Jamaica. Them never meet nobody from Jamaica yet.
no doubt.
And
In
them not
Atlanta, right? Sorry,
go on
in
say, go
Atlanta,
on
right? I
say.
met people in Atlanta. I met people who asked me if Jamaica is in Africa, right? And
Yes,
and they and they asked me if Jamaicans wear shoes and so forth.
yes,
And
some
and and,
bumbo
and
cloth.
I literally met a grown woman in her 50s in the early 2000s who told me that she's never heard of Bob Marley.
yes. Yeah, and
And
people
I
know
and I
today. Mm-hmm.
I was so listen. It didn't make any sense to me at that point, but I've grown older. I'm like, it didn't it didn't make any
Steve,
sense to me at all.
Steve, you good?
Yeah,
You okay, Steve? All right. Feel free to jump in at any time, yeah?
I
yeah.
think I think even the part with Sean Paul looking Hispanic, I think the record labels not really pay that no mind. Record label I did I say, all right, them I think say I'm a Spanish, but them think I'm a Spanish. We go and push it through. 'Cause if
No,
you look
but that's my but you're making my point because the bigger point is if I'm doing something for the advancement of our music, our culture,
Hmm.
that would be a big part of it. One thing I rate about Sean Paul is that him talk patois everywhere him go. You you
Deliberately.
will just have to stop to understand it, right? But I respect that about him. He's like I only know two people that do that. This person named Nouvelle and him.
And
Like
it's
it doesn't matter where he's talking patois. And for me, that to me, I would say him bringing the culture, that part of the culture, like everywhere around, I would say, okay, people could connect to that. But my thing is, I don't think he was marketed like how Bob Marley did market. Like, big up Rita. Yes.
But it was a different time. And here's the funny thing about
That is
Sean
true
Paul, right?
too.
What is Sean Paul's last name?
Hernandez.
Or Hendrix or something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
So to the
Hernandez.
extent, so technically speaking, is he not?
No, he's Jamaican.
You know, no. All right, Jamaica is part of Latin America, right?
No,
Jamaica is part of Latin.
we're a part of the Americas, yeah. The whole
And
thing.
the Hispanic, right? The
Mm,
Hispanic person. How is it again? Because Latinos. Which one is broader?
Let me see if I see where he's going. He's saying just because he has the
Real
name
thumb. His
Hernandez.
name is Hernandez. Sean
Yes,
Paul name is Hernandez.
Or
isn't that what I
Hendriquez or
just
something
said?
like that.
It's
Hernandez. Yeah.
Hernandez.
Oh, it's
Right.
Hernandez.
So
Okay,
I never know that. I
yeah. So
think his name. I never know that.
yeah.
I
So
said
just
that like
because his
10
name,
times just now.
so just because his name is a last name, you're going to tie that into Latin America, even though he was born in Jamaica.
No, you know how we're trying. Hold on a second. I'm actually looking it up right now because
Yo, Whistle. Big up.
no. So listen, what I'm doing is just broaden it, right? Like for example, with Michael being in Amsterdam, right?
Right.
And I think about Baruch Spinoza, right? And he had to secure refuge in Amsterdam when he was excommunicated from the Jewish community, right? And so forth. Sean Paul's fam, they got the correct. There you go, Enriquez, because I know that's his last name, right? Sean Paul, technically, his
Enriquez.
composition,
Why I kept saying Hernandez?
yeah, it's Enriquez.
Yeah, you're right.
He, in a functional sense, is arguably Hispanic. I'm not saying he is Hispanic. I'm not. He's wholly Jamaican. I'm just saying, like for example, when those people see his actual last name, it's not far fetched for them to conclude that he's Hispanic.
But I don't think you're listening. All right, you are listening to me, but I don't
No, I'm
think you're
hearing you.
getting.
I'm hearing. I'm just speaking from a
Right.
functional perspective, not a
No, I'm just
literal
saying I don't
perspective.
think you're right. I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. In terms of all right, so you see that part there now? Me just do me feel like when I come to America, I had to now put the whole he look Hispanic, you look Japanese, you look Korean. We ain't talk about none of that shit in Jamaica, so I don't include
Exactly.
it when I have conversations about it, right? However, when I say most the people that I talk to, a lot of them don't even if they don't know that he's Jamaican, right? They don't even know that he's Jamaican. I think that says to how he's being marketed
I
because
agree with you.
it
I,
would
I I
seem
agree with
like
you.
where he is not known as Jamaican, they could have done a better job of marketing him as such. But I feel like the label was facetious because it was done to help their bottom line, right? And so to me, that means it was not organic. That means they only showcase certain things about him. So they are not even getting to know the real him or the real music surrounding him or where his music is coming from, which is why a lot of them think he's reggaeton and why he has been capitalizing on the Latin side of things. But I am going to leave it there.
So I'm not disagreeing with you, right? I think the label deliberately elect not to market him as or peg him to being Jamaican. I don't disagree with you. I actually agree with you.
And
I
here it
actually
is.
have
Here's the thing, but 1 second, because the label,
Hold on,
the,
just to piggyback off of what Doberman said, right? Look what the label did to Millie Valene.
The Korea.
what did they do to them rather?
here's the question, right? If the label didn't push him as Jamaican, we also we're not trying to say that they pushed him as something else, right? Or they marketed him as something else. Because in my perspective, he was never marketed or branded as a Latin artist or a Spanish artist. So So if we're going to say they didn't push him as a Jamaican artist, they just left him ambiguous, right? Because we're not saying they pushed him as a particular, they didn't pigeonhole him to a specific genre, right?
I don't think they did, and I think the Latin crossover component of it came subsequently after he rose to a certain level. But no doubt about it, the label did not look to affirm him as being Jamaican. And
Yeah, but look at it also. Like Doublemint said, one thing she's love about Sean Paul, like, we ain't going out here in Jamaica.
exactly. So I think Sean Paul, of his own volition, does that. I don't know if he ever solicited the lips of, yo, I need to market me as a Jamaican. He clearly marketed himself as a Jamaican. But me personally, I love reggae and I love dancehall. I don't care where you're from when it comes to reggae and dancehall. I've read some of these publications and they're like, oh, there are 3 Jamaicans nominated for the Grammy and they exclude the others as if they're lesser. If you're doing reggae and dancehall, you're doing reggae and dancehall for me. I I I, I don't think it's mandatory for you to be Jamaican to do reggae and dancehall.
No, I don't think they're such, but then when they're marketing it as 3 Jamaicans, they mean homegrown because if you don't believe me, American people prefer homegrown. Like it's a thing. It's just a thing.
Yeah, no, most people socially, right? We prefer that which we're more familiar with. No doubt about it, right? But when I read how some of these people write, they're being more malicious than any good that they think they're doing. Like they devalue someone. Like for example, if we're doing reggae and dancehall, the best product should win. I don't necessarily, and I get it. It's in our conditioning to prefer those who we can relate to. No doubt about it. But I don't think someone should deliberately prejudice the part.
All
Big
In
right,
up,
terms
big
man.
up,
of
big up
what?
to Steve.
Explain.
Steve had to
Yeah,
leave.
experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speak.
yeah. Big up, Steve. Big up, big up, big up. I just sent you a message on IG. Yeah, feel free to call back in at any time, and also feel free to edit this video and share it. You understand, on your Instagram. Do all that. Like, share, and subscribe. Big up yourself, Steve.
So
Hope to
edit
see
out
you back
Michael when you're
soon.
doing it. Blur Michael face when you're doing it.
Hmm?
Double
What's
win.
that?
Double win. To me love
leave
and
me,
a double mate, met a
leave me
brother
alone.
such big mouth.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Cause you block the people them from over here. Leave me alone.
Big up yourself, double win. Who was on the
But
platform? Who was go ahead, double win.
no, but all right. So here's the thing, right? We can make a lot of excuses, which is what to me all of these are, right? I don't know if like I talk all the time say me a brand dancehall, brand Jamaica. That don't mean say me no respect reggae music, but brand dancehall. You see me? And I feel like me have to have my own sense but I know my own moral compass, my own code, my own thing when I live by. And for me, it is very important for me when me talk, like, so people get upset like when you say, oh, something, something, and you say, oh, no, I'm Jamaican. Or me double, such as say, oh, I'm Jamaican. So me do that all the time. Me not care who get upset with me. And when we talk about even Jamaican, as much as I am black, I don't separate us. I don't say, um or majority of us is black. So then I don't go around calling Shensi a Korean, Jamaican, and them bumbleclad shit they like when we see. This what you call it, what we say about everybody?
Out
The
of many one
everybody
people,
thing
out of many one people.
out of many one people that I feel like all of a sudden now it's become a thing that we're supposed to now like choose something like, oh, we have to say this one or this one. Me not depend on choosing thing, me not depend that. That when me I grow up it's out of many one people, I grow with all different kind of people, and at no point in time was I taught by society. I don't care what we have, colorism, all of that. In no time was I taught by society to hate anybody because they are white or because they are Puerto Rican or etc. etc. And so all of them something there, me believe say just make me me. No, if somebody are gonna work with me, right? That has to be something that we talk about. Very important. Even the fact that I code switch, I want to be able to do that anywhere I go, whatever speaking engagement I am doing, I will try my best to make sure everybody understand. But I have to be able to code switch. Why? That is also a part of me. I feel like when you go work with people, if them a bring you out there, then them a bring Jamaica and them a bring the culture. Me not understand, right? And this is why me think the label them pay and force feed, and that is why the music is so big and enormous, but right now, Sean Paul is less popular realistically, even in the media, than some other younger artists, right? So, we don't talk still.
When it comes to artists, right, they have a shelf life, and or they have to transition to different modes. Um, Anita Baker, Mariah Carey, they're bigger than the artists that are hot today, but they're just not trending, as they would say, right? They all have a shelf life, and at a certain stage in their career, they know that they have to resign to touring and doing appearances and so forth. That's where Sean Paul is. That's where Sean Paul and Shaggy are heading. It's just what it is. There isn't much they could do to change that trajectory. It's just that they've done their time, they've done their work, and the hope is that someone else can stand in their stead. Unfortunately, in our genre, or our two genres, we don't see the next person who are going to be able to get to that level anytime soon. As
No,
far as
me see them, you don't see them.
Crazy.
when I say levels, I'm talking about selling at Sean Paul's level or exceeding Sean Paul's level of selling. And I don't preclude marketing. Marketing should be a part of the package. You cannot expect to run on a track without wearing spikes or play football without the right gears and so forth. If you want to compete on the main stage,
Oh,
there's certain prerequisites.
okay, so a couple things. I don't think how you're looking for it, it's ever gonna happen. So if what I'm thinking you're thinking, then you're right. That's it. Period, point blank. There's no, but there's gonna be first of new things. So it's gonna look differently moving forward,
I'm
in
sorry,
my
say that again.
opinion.
Repeat the last part. Sorry.
I said it's gonna look differently moving forward. So when we're looking for people to sell and be on par with even like a Sean Paul numbers, what I'm saying is we've moved past that. We've
So
moved
here's what I'm
past
saying,
that.
right?
When it's-
People
The,
not
the,
when you say move past that,
people in general, people not buying music like how they used to buy it. Ti the other day, his first week was 21,000. Chris Brown was 70 something thousand. I keep saying this all the time. People don't buy music anymore. So that thing that we were looking for, we can't tap look feed because we artists them now go get for doing something there.
no,
but
so
here's the
here's what I'm
thing,
saying.
double. One second now. But here's the thing, doubles. We're not using the metrics of old to judge the artists of
Right,
current, right? But
right.
so it's not necessarily the sales, but we're in 2026, so let's use streaming for example, right? Sean Paul outstreams the entire genre by a few multiple, right? So that's I think that's what Niall's speaking to, where even in using current metrics of streaming, he is still paramount to everyone else in the genre, and we haven't seen someone else in I haven't not
So
today,
that's
not
what. So
tomorrow.
I'm not saying anything different. Follow me. I said, do not look for that. It's not gonna happen anymore. At the rate that music is being consumed, it's not. We don't unless we're thinking about that being done in Jamaica. That's the only place. But you
So double
can't be
mint.
looking at America and think that, in my opinion.
So double mint. Contemporary hip hop, rap, R&B artists. When they rise to the level of uber celebrity, we're gonna know. We're gonna maybe use certain metrics to determine that. Yeah, that's the equivalent of what Whitney Houston was in the '90s and so forth. You know, what I mean, we're gonna be able to use whatever the contemporary standards are to determine that this person has risen to this level.
You know,
We're
you
gonna
know why I don't agree? I don't agree because as of right now, there is no bigger than Drake. And people will still turn to you and say to you that Drake hasn't sold as much records as Michael Jackson has sold. And so he is not the greatest of all time. So maybe those are your standards, but I don't feel like That would be an in general thing.
So an
But I
artist doesn't
think
need to. Okay.
using the example of Drake, not so, just using the example of Drake, right? He's still the leader in that space. What we can see where an NBA young boy or a Rod Wave, you can say, okay, those two artists, based on their streaming numbers or based on what they're doing in their respective arenas, you can say, okay, they have the potential to one day be where Drake is, right? In dancehall, we haven't seen that. We're okay. No one else is streaming 20 million streams per month on Spotify, for example. So we're trying to say is we're not see the next global superstar, at least from the younger youths, right? We're not see it in a Skipper or Molly Dan. Skilly,
Brother, you're not gonna see it. You not have nothing to judge it by. You judge it based upon American standards. Tell me where in a Jamaica you gonna use. So who you gonna tell me say? I based
but
on
that
who
but that
America say
no,
is
but
the
that's almost a
new, is the
global.
it?
That's almost
No,
a
but at the
global.
end,
That's a
no, the global doesn't. Y'all got shit fucked up. That's the thing. Y'all keep talking about dance hall from a global perspective. Dance hall is Jamaica shit. That's where everything needs to start. That's what I said to y'all in the beginning. Once you broke that ceiling, then you're playing on different levels. Ain't none of them motherfuckers broke that ceiling yet.
All
Right.
right,
So
crazy.
okay. So
but they,
Sorry.
sorry.
but they broke it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Night, and then Lala, and then Crazy.
But they broke it in the past. So what I try to say is if they break it in the past, we would love to see somebody break the mold, break the ceiling again. Where I try
But
to say is why we can't say
it
that.
will not be that way, Night. The music has shifted from how from how it was being consumed at the time. So if you're looking to say, oh, I like how you use NBA Youngboy and Rod Wave. Aren't they independent artists? Aren't they? No?
Uh,
Anybody know?
I, I
NBA is a band.
As far as NBA young boy, I know him have baby from Cash Money, a part of him thing. So you know,
Mm.
so double min. We agree with you that these artists haven't broken that threshold as yet. What we're saying is that to the extent that an artist were to break out, their music would have to be consumed by others beyond our community, right? And however the wider community consumes music, we'll be able to look at those patterns to determine whether or not an artist has gotten to a certain level. So it's not necessarily that they would have sold a certain amount of units or whatever that is.
Yeah,
20
but
years from now,
there was a time that no. So while I understand, remember that time they were not just a talk, but where we are sell records and them something there, where people
uh-huh,
could go in a record store. You see
uh-huh.
that money that was being spent in those record stores, that was the backing that the music had. That's what made the music look marketable because hey, these people that's coming from this place is spending money. Will let us spend money over here. Oh, they saying this is the hot shit. Okay, let's take the hot shit and make it hotter. We don't have any of that now. So there is a floor that is missing. We are wanting to go from one step onto the other and expect that there's going to be this smooth transition when if you don't have level or solid grounds to begin with, there is no growing that you're going to grow. You might grow individually for a time, right? But it doesn't mean the genre is growing. It doesn't mean everybody's growing.
All
No,
right.
no doubt about it.
Uh,
But yeah, all
go
right,
ahead.
go ahead, Michael. No, no,
No,
you go ahead.
you go ahead. Go ahead
No,
and
no, no,
Crazy.
no, no, no. It's all right. Allow for other input.
Okay, Crazy. Go ahead before we close.
Yes, I bless the panel. No, me
Bless up.
just forward to the good reasoning today and learn
Boy,
a
me
lot
love it.
today. Learn a lot today, you know. So yeah, me just say, me just call him to say, yeah, my Michael, good job.
Yeah, man, this Monday, members Monday. Gold and I jump out and say, yo, a bright people reasoning into dumb that reasoning, yeah. Big up Gold and I, big up. You understand? Big up and big up everybody who followed me. I appreciate this so much. You understand? And big up Steve. Big up Steve. Remember me tell him, me reach out to him behind
All
the
right,
scene
save
and
the big up them, Michael. Make him man done talk before, cause you gotta do this again in a 10 minutes. Where you say no, Nile, finish what you said, Nile. Big up
Big up,
yourself.
I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
But yeah, in the show so early.
I don't
All right,
know,
go ahead.
no.
No, go ahead.
We definitely did stray from the original topic, but nonetheless,
No, we
we
did,
were
but
talking.
hold on. Maybe want you continue. Cause you did a real
Yeah, did I say?
some good. Wait, remember? I make
Me
it
just want,
syrupy
me
in
just
my
want to
brain.
add something to what government they say. Like
Okay.
Go ahead.
they say, like you can't see no one at the moment, but we can't tell what the future holds. So probably in the next 5 years, 10 years, here comes the breakout artist. You never know.
No,
Yeah,
okay. So me not disagree. But what I have been saying, essentially, now maybe in these words, is that we are the ones that are supposed to choose who these breakout artists are. We are supposed to be able to say who is the best of the best. But if you notice, even right now, Skipper and Malidan go back and forth, and them I use Apple Music Kingston 25. Why would them not use our platform? Why them not say TVJ this that? Why them not say CVM such and such? Why them not say Jam Down Ray Ray? Why them not say Carib this? Why them a talk about Apple Music?
we, I guess I wasn't paying much attention. When you
And
say they're saying Apple Music, what you mean you mean they're putting their products on the Apple platform? Is that what you're saying?
No
they're
man, I just
using
are
they're
talk about the
using the chart.
platform where them are talk about in terms of what gives them a lead, what makes them leading, right?
They're
Oh,
using the Apple chart as bragging rights, basically.
Yeah.
oh, so you mean when people talking about how successful they are, they talk about iTunes and Apple Music? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Apple Music
Exactly right.
Kingston 25 charts, yeah.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is it shouldn't be that they're talking about, right? It should be what we set as the standard in Jamaica.
But that's the thing.
But
There isn't. I mean, is there a meaningful chart in Jamaica?
So you're getting my point now. We don't have one. So
Right. And
we're missing a step.
right. So Miss Bluefire, right? I'm not too sure you should be familiar with her, Miss Julia and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she does talk extensively about the need to create these things in Jamaica. And
Yeah,
I, and
I
I
talk
and I
extensively about it too.
right. Okay.
Extensively.
Here you talk about Clubhouse, right? So I have not been on Clubhouse in eons. So maybe I may need to come over Clubhouse at some point in time because
But I know your
that's what
voice sound familiar. You interact with me on Clubhouse before?
I doubt it. I
Okay.
have never engaged in Clubhouse. I was there in the pandemic when it first came out and they were having these
Oh, so you
discussions.
like you like the did you see like a Caribbean side or were you there when it was just American everything?
I've seen the Caribbean side of, I've seen the African side. Yeah, I've seen
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
all of them,
Okay.
right?
Got
But
you.
I've never interacted with the community.
Well, that could have been a bad thing.
It could have been a
See,
bad
then
thing
you
if
would have.
we
Yeah, because see, then you wouldn't know. We've done a number of initiatives that have gone places that you could have been a part of. You know.
got you. No, Clubhouse definitely represent the kind of engagement that I appreciate. And that's pretty much what we're doing here
Correct.
today,
Correct. I
you
I
know?
tell them all the time, like the cussing out, like me get overstimulated. Me can sometimes. So, like I rather having conversations like this where everybody could speak. Listen sometimes, and even if it does get a little back and forth, there ain't no disrespect involved.
Real talk. Real talk. And maybe we just need to set that tone and hopefully others will seek to emulate it.
Yeah,
Um, I
every
suppose
Monday.
yeah. Like here we are, and even again, like you're saying, I think RJR they used to have these charts. I'm not too sure how accurate these charts were, what metrics they used to inform them back then. I don't know how they collect data. We're in the digital age now, right? They should be able to easily capture data. But for whatever it's worth, the Americanization, the cannibalization of America is just is just changing all of those kind of things in Jamaica. And the iTunes chart is that chart it represents roughly 1 or 2% of all music consumption. The iTunes chart itself,
So
and
I
There's
there
a
don't
question, right?
I don't think really quick. I don't think we can ever get away in Jamaica from actually speaking about what happens overseas. Even if me I go use RJ as reference in the early morning. when they would bring out the music information. Once it came on to anything international or involving America or the UK, it would tell you, like they would tell you. So like them would have say Shaggy song reach gold or it's now certified platinum by the RIAA. You know what I mean? It's just that if you don't really know what them are talk about, you don't really know. But me not gonna lie, them I do it long time and we can't get rid of understanding what the music is doing in other places. We just need to own a reputable one. Go
Yeah,
on,
man, I
Stewart.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, I want to say this, guys. I just want to pick up back up what government has said. It's like in America to sell gold, right, is 500,000, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the UK, it's how much? 300,
400.
400. And in Canada, is how much?
Three, if I'm
All
not
right.
mistaken.
Well, I speak about Jamaica. I think Jamaica should have a standard where it's if you sell this amount in a Jamaica, let's say 200, just to throw a number out there, then you go gold. Because every country have them standard where them said, so if you want to go gold in America, you have to sell 500 over here. So if you want to go gold over England, you have to sell this amount. If you want to go gold in Canada, this away you have to sell. So if you want to go gold in Jamaica, so this away you have to sell. What do you think about that?
We,
No,
no, I agree.
me not hear what. I'm
I
sorry,
think
what
it's
me
in
not
line with
do?
what you're saying, Doublemint, and I
What
want
say it again. Say it again. I'm so sorry.
No,
go ahead,
may I
Jimmy.
say,
So
may I say government, right? In America, right? To sell gold, you have to sell 500,000, correct?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you sell gold in England, you have to sell X amount of copy, correct?
Yeah.
And if you go gold in Canada, you have to sell whether 250, 300, correct?
Yes.
So I'm saying in Jamaica, based on Jamaica, I think we should have our own Jamaica standard where it say, if you go gold in Jamaica, this is where you have to sell in Jamaica. Let's say you put a number at it at 200,000.
Mm-hmm. I
50-50.
well, I said the same thing. Yeah.
I was thinking 50. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
But
can't.
but
50-50.
even but even so, that still goes towards a bigger conversation, which I feel like probably
Yes.
not did I go talk about, which is we have to figure out a way how we're gonna develop the system, right? So hopefully these conversations is making it to the ears of the right people. Because like okay, now say for a few weeks now, we need somewhere where a platform where where we
All right.
artists them can put their music and people can go and purchase. I don't think it should just be a Jamaican thing. It have to be for the Caribbean because of how our numbers look, but and who consumes the music a lot. But I do think it's something that's how we're gonna start getting the real numbers. Also, big up Yaksa from where they when him do him thing on the website and you could have purchased there, and then even when the album drop, it the number three pan iTunes chart.
The
Some of us
better,
I say
the, be-
there's avenue.
So
doubles, the better will spearhead the rollout for Yaxa's album. I think when him Light
Who
Clock.
Lloyd? Yeah.
Lloyd Lang.
Yeah, I need. Oh yes, Leah Leng. I need to,
Yeah,
but I love to
Lloyd.
have him on the for hear why them got a route, the success of it, etc. I have a lot of questions for him. I'm gonna send him a
I,
DM. I'm saying if him go answer.
I'm gonna say this. I do not like that approach. Uh,
Why?
I think it's largely superficial. Li-
Explain.
Like as I mentioned earlier, right, the iTunes chart doesn't represent more than 2% of overall music consumption. I think it's been over represented as far as its
Oh wait,
true.
maybe you never hear the rollout. The
No, no, no,
rollout
no,
was oh
no. Familiar with the rollout as far as the website, and I was trying to find the music before, and it proved difficult. And I saw, and I was there
Electrical
with
thing.
people.
no. So where were you trying to find the music on Apple or
No,
Amazon?
no, 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 no. On their website, it was the first place that we went, right? And when you purchase the music, it wasn't as straightforward as they've since made adjustments, but initially it wasn't straightforward. And they made it seem as if when you purchase music, then and there you would have gotten it, and that particular individual did not. As a matter of fact, I didn't even check with them to see if they received it, but they didn't receive it real time, as they thought based on the language of the website at that point in time. And Yakstar was purporting that the music was going to become available on all platforms at a certain time frame, and when they made that declaration, it wasn't available on other platforms also.
No,
Even question.
no, me follow the rollout, and the reason why me follow the rollout is, somebody we me work with is like closely and like me know Ling, so me follow it because again, this is something where we've had many clubhouse conversations, and we've said many things, you know what I'm saying? So somebody actually doing it, like me follow it, and not from a insider perspective, from a consumer perspective. So one thing me gotta agree with is I don't think they made it very clear as to the time frame from the website different from Apple and the other DSPs. So that we
Right.
will agree on. However, once I went on there to make my purchase, yes, it wasn't shipped at the same time, right? But you were able to go on and make your purchase, and everything you pay through PayPal, everything was pretty much self-explanatory. What I cannot speak about though, and I'm gonna be fair, is if I had purchased it like via if I had purchased it like the digital one that they spoke about. I didn't do the digital one, so
Right.
I can't speak on that.
So that's what I'm speaking to. The particular individual actually has a presence here in the media as Michael does, and he was doing it on his live, and it wasn't as clear cut as we all assume it would have been. And you know what was crazy? Most people didn't even know the
When
name of
was
the
this?
album. I think it was a very day that the album was launched. Was it launched on a Saturday? I think, not a Friday.
No, a Friday.
Was it a Friday? Whenever it was. Yeah, no, actually, so it was launched on the Friday itself, but not, but because they were doing it from their website initially, not Apple and elsewhere. Individuals had to go onto the website, purchase it, but the streaming option,
Right.
the
So for
streaming
the
version,
whole week, you could only purchase off the website. But that
for
was
1 week.
also,
For
yeah,
1 week.
it became, and then no, but then even if say you follow on social media, right? And on the website there was a countdown too that basically tells you when it would be available. And if you go up on Yaxter page, you see it said 3 days until this, that 72 hours, 24 hours. So I don't know. I feel like
Um,
at first I did not. At first it didn't. At first I get what you got. But when I looked at the page itself, when I went on Yaxter page, and I even messaged him on the page too. Like once I did that, I was like, shit, sometime if we read, we'll get the information. Though I'm not telling no lie, I'm just a talk about myself. I say sometime if me read, me get the information because here his page goes saying how much days until it reach. So the whole week, and them alone can tell you how much them sell for the week because you have to buy it off our website. No
right,
this.
right, and most consumers are very fickle, right? Going to they're not going to exhaust as much effort as you have. Not much for you, right? But most people are just so fickle. And I've heard
No,
the
them do
review.
that anyways, Nile. Them not do nothing different. Nobody feel like say when because it a go up on Apple, that means say them a go buy it. No, them not trust nothing. Them not buying nothing. Them a put it in a them playlist and listen to it one time and that is it. People not
So,
buying music no more.
no, most people are not buying music, right? That's why I'm saying that digital downloads represent roughly 2% of music consumption, right? So I agree. When Shaggy album came out, I bought the vinyl. You understand? And when Buju album come out, I go buy the vinyl again, right? And
Yeah,
the
so in a
vinyl.
pre-order. You can pre-order in a brother.
No, but me still like a purchase in no matter.
You
You
can still
understand?
to pre-order.
No, I can. Yeah, I can. But I know I'm gonna purchase on the very day, around my birthday, the end. Yeah.
Okay. Want to put
Yeah.
something for your birthday and
So
thing.
I got support Gargamel. You understand?
You see me?
And so
Yeah,
forth,
yeah.
and them
Yeah.
kind of thing there. So, and Yaxter album though, right, is it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
That
I do,
album,
I do, I do, I do love Yaxter album.
the
I'm not gonna
album,
tell you no.
the album, man.
I'm not
Man,
gonna
I
tell you
agree
no
with
lie.
when I say about scamming when they do the interviews and so forth. But when you listen to the album, the
Buju,
man, I said, mhm,
sorry, Buju album is this Thursday, yeah? Okay, this Thursday.
the
This
18th, right?
Friday,
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
Thursday
Well, it's
night,
gonna be
okay, so.
Thursday for you, yeah.
So we will play it live on here, yeah? Before it drop over phone side.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Youngster album
Okay,
is
hold
a
on,
You know
hold on,
why
solid
more
hold
album.
on.
come here, sir? More
One
come to
second,
that
one
one there, you know.
second,
Michael, cause me know nobody now go in a chat for murder me.
Yeah, we are
one
come up
second,
with
Nobody now go business.
one
yeah,
second,
man.
Michael. Before you promise that, because it's not every album release midnight over here. So, for example, Future album this weekend is 6 a.m. European time, midnight American time. So it varies. It varies.
Oh,
Chris Brown
okay.
album, yeah, Chris Brown album was released 12 midnight Europe time. But so it depends. I don't know if it's a specific label or what, but we can't guarantee a Buju album are gonna drop midnight
Yeah,
our time
I will
and not. So
Google
it
it.
depends.
You see why I listen to him? You see why he needs to be on the stage, Michael? Because you just be up here chatting shit.
Mm. Yeah, me hope and pray it all drop. You see me I say. But people, you may enjoy the conversation today. I have to go, you see me?
All right.
Tomorrow is a different thing. Everybody
Rambo
forward
just
back next
forward, man.
Monday again. You understand?
Rambo,
Members
Rambo just
Monday.
forward. You don't want to hear Rambo say.
Oh, yeah, Rambo just in a bush. Rambo, what, Rambo?
The man don't want to hear nothing where
Yo,
Rambo
me
say
just have
about the
listen.
manners.
You know what God? Me just say a big up. Me just say a big up. Michael, I go on there. Me just say I
Yeah, man.
listen.
Yeah, man. We have to change up the thing. You understand?
Yes, sir. Most of the points in what share, me agree with them. So it just,
Yeah.
you understand? To
Yeah,
commend everybody with their son, a whole yard and a whole reason.
Yeah, man. Me love it. Man. You understand? Real time, big up yourself. You see me?
Big up yourself, Rambo.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
tomorrow we do it again, yeah?
No,
Yeah.
don't rush with Michael. Make us say,
Yeah.
well, make us
All
Yeah.
right.
finish.
So
Yo,
yeah,
yo, man, a little more. Me I go talk about how I go on with the two man. You
I
are
don't
it
want to
over.
hear, I don't want to hear nothing about cartel over there today. Today all day we talk, I want to talk
I'm not
about
cartel,
Mali
I'm
Dan
talk.
fire. I don't
Which
want to
part
hear
of
nothing
Rambo?
when you talk about Mali Dan and Skipper today about cartel. Me tired right now. Thank you.
Rambo, which part?
You not skip over to no cartel with me I talk about. I two man me I talk
Thank
about.
you. That me I say when me forward to them, no one hear little haters them over there discuss that me I expect to hear about Mali Dan and Skipper when me I say today.
Then normally
Rambo,
don't
which
skip over talk about.
you go live later?
Yeah. We have to talk about what going with Maladan and Skipper, man.
What
The
time?
war is ugly, man.
What time you go live?
That's
Yeah, go
about
make
it.
you go there. And
You
then you
know.
better
Yeah.
get ready for go.
If if me no circle, just talk about the fact that yo, in the latest song, him say something about Daddy Badness, then him correct it in the second half and I say, but RIP. That's all I'm care about. Just if man dead, somebody need to bring out the point. They say him say, yo, I'm gonna put you beside Daddy Badness. Then a minute later him say, yo, RIP to Daddy Badness. I never mean that. Because myself, I'm sorry about that. Just get aggravated. So
Not me
somebody
never
need to
mean
bring that.
that.
Yeah. Yo,
But that him
yo.
saying I can't remember. Same tell the man say I'm gonna lay him down next to Daddy Badness. You see?
And that him say I'm gonna lay him down side of the badness. So
And then come back intermission and say, yo, these are the views of Molly and not the views of Trevor. So you want somebody to know the point. So if I'm get for calling, got them time they're about
Midnight
2 a.m.
Friday.
my time.
Midnight Friday, Buju Banton album and drop. Midnight Thursday, so I
Midnight,
understand.
where
Yeah, so
midnight?
Amsterdam time.
Well, you are promised that still, so we could see.
All right, go Google it. People, we'll link up tomorrow. Maybe we talk about Maladan tomorrow. You understand?
No, we don't want to talk about when Rambo go talk about. You know that you say where you don't want to regurgitate the same thing.
Yeah, have a point. All right, big up everybody until tomorrow. Zane?
Bless up.
Godspeed,
Yeah,
Godspeed.
bless up.
Salute.
Big
Love the
up
conversation today.
Night, Rambo, Jamaica vibes. Michael, big up yourself, yeah? Everybody later.
I make a call me last.
Likewise to you all. And see, what the version name? T. What the version will leave earlier?
Oh, yeah, Steve.
Steve,
It's
correct.
Steve.
Yeah.
It's Steve.
Big him
Big
up,
up,
man.
Steve. All right, big up
Yeah,
everybody.
man.